Ballot box scheduling. Ballot box model school visits documents will be available upon request. Members of planning team * all Title I schools must have a parent on their planning team that is not a district employee. Name of member: Miriam Lewis, Patricia Martinez, Angela Zelbrack, Paula Faye, Kelly Grandal. Position: parent. Parent interventionist, read by 3 strategist. Principal: name of member: Lydia Carrillo, Dawn Grunwald, Rebecca Cumley, Armando Quintanilla, Rachel Coleman. Position: parent. Assistant principal, RTI coordinator, SEC assistant, resource teacher. Last date: review revised by planning team November 4, 2019. Page 1. Nevada Department of Education, June 2017. Nevada Department of Education, Vegas Verdes, ES 2019-2020. Clark County School District. Component A: Comprehensive Needs Assessment, CNA. Data reviewed and analyzed. Based on your school's NSPF results, identify what additional data have been reviewed and analyzed in development of the SPP. School data for general education, including FRL, English language learner, ELL data. Special education data. Nevada School Performance Framework, NSPF. Teacher administrator observation data. Stakeholder information coordination of services for FRL, L. IEP student stakeholder survey information. Other multiple measures data review. Other Nevada School Performance Framework, and SPF. Achievement gap data. Family engagement data. Teacher administrator observation data. AMAO's ELPA analysis. Other stakeholder survey information. Other parent survey, parent center. Nevada School Performance Framework, and SPF. Achievement gap data. Family engagement data. Teacher administrator observation data. IEP compliance. Other multiple measures data review. Other summary statement: please provide a brief description for how the analyzed data will impact your inquiry and action planning process. Overview. Vegas Verdes Elementary School, VVES, is a Title I Victory school located in Region 2 of the Clark County School District, CCSD. Due to rezoning, the student population has shifted slightly. Enrollment for the 2019-2020 school year as of September 6, 2019 is as follows: 741 total students. Ethnicity: Hispanic, 73.68%; Black, 10.66%; Caucasian, 8.77%; multiracial, 2.83%; Asian or Pacific Islander, 2.56%; Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, 1.35%; Native American, 0.13%; IEP, 16.33%; L, 35.36%; FRL, 100%. Analysis of data. VVES has increased a 2-star status from 2017-2018 to 3-star in 2018-2019 based on the preliminary school rating report. 2018-2019 data indicated proficiency in ELA was 51.5% and math scored 45% in grades 3-5. NSPF data indicated ELA proficiency decreased by 4% in grades 3-5 this year, and SPF data indicated math decreased 4% in grades 3-5. This decrease was attributed to the rezoning of over 150 students to Vegas Verdes ES. Our school attendance rates dropped and our chronic absenteeism increased from 11.34%, 17-18 to 17.35%, 18-19. Positive statements. Math CRT MGP increased from 40 to 59 in regard to percentile growth, and Math CRT GP increased from 38.2 to 45 in percentile comparison. LCRT MGP increased from 45.5 to 54 in regard to last date. Review revised by planning team November 4, 2019. Page 2. Nevada Department of Education, June 2017. Nevada Department of Education, Vegas Verdes ES 2019-2020. Clark County School District percentile growth and LCRT GP increased from 52.3 to 58 in percentile comparison. MAP data indicated the following percent of students met their projected RIT score in mathematics: K 71%, first 70%, 2 and D 47%, and 3 RD 57%. MAP data indicated the following percent of students met their projected RID score in ELA: K 52%, 1ST 64%, 2ND 45%, and 3RD 53%. The positive increases in growth can be attributed to the programs purchased that utilize Victory funding. Areas of opportunities: VVES needs to maintain the percent of student proficiency from year in both ELA and math. RVENTIONS for all students, including RTI students, to increase student academic achievement. VVES needs to increase fidelity to purposeful and targeted programs and interventions for all students, including RTI students, to increase student academic achievement. VVES needs to purchase additional reading instructional materials school-wide to better scaffold Tier I and Tier 2 instruction in K-5 using Victory funds, and to improve phonics and foundational reading skills. VVES needs to improve the effectiveness of grade-level collaboration to be sure that there is a clear understanding of instructional objectives and delivery of Tier 1 instructions. VVES needs to increase the reliance on student performance data produced by instructional programs purchased through funding sources such as Victory. VVES needs to increase positive student behaviors and student accountability. VVES needs to increase teacher understanding of the NVACS to improve instruction. VVES needs to increase the rate of growth for students in special education classes who did not grow at an adequate rate in comparison to grade-level peers. VVES needs to increase family engagement and understanding of programs and processes. Prioritized needs. Date of needs assessment: March, April 2018. Participants of the needs assessment: 24 participants. Parents 16.7%, staff members 83.3%, community members 0%. Results of needs assessment: the school community feels that VVES provides the following academic supports: instruction in core academic areas, 100% effective and engaging teachers, 100% individualized and personalized learning supports for students who struggle, 100% instruction and intervention in reading skills, 100%. The top 3 things administration staff should focus on in 2018-2019 to improve academics: instruction using updated technology. 54% of respondents chose this as an option. Instruction and intervention in reading skills. 50% of respondents chose this as an option. Opportunities for parents and families to engage in the school. 45% of respondents chose this as an option. The school community feels that VVES provides the following behavioral and social emotional supports: access to healthcare services. 96% a safe and positive school climate and culture. 92% support for access to food and food services. 92% the school community feels that VVES should focus on in 2018-2019 to improve behavioral and social emotional supports. Extracurricular activities. 63% of respondents chose this as an option. Mentoring programs. 63% of respondents chose this as an option. Positive behavioral supports and interventions. 58% of respondents chose this as an option. State assessment results: 2016-2017 SBAC English Language Arts ELA last date review revised by planning team, November 4, 2019. Page 3. Nevada Department of Education, June 2017. Nevada Department of Education, Vegas Verdes ES 2019-2020. Clark County School District. All students, 57.2%. Economically disadvantaged students, 57.2%. 2017-2018 SBAC English Language Arts ELA. All students, 55.4%. Economically disadvantaged students, 55.4%. 2018-2019 SBAC English Language Arts ELA. All students, 51.5%. Economically disadvantaged students, 51.5%. 2016-2017 SBAC Math. All students, 61.2%. Economically disadvantaged students, 61.2%. 2017-2018 SBAC Math. All students, 49%. economically disadvantaged students, 49% 2018-2019 SBAC Math all students, 45% economically disadvantaged students, 45% last date review revised by planning team, November 4th, 2019 page 4 Nevada Department of Education, June 2017. Nevada Department of Education Vegas Verdes ES 2019-2020 Clark County School District Priority Need Goal 1, ELA, increase the overall percentage of ELA proficient students at Vegas Verdes Elementary School from 51.5 to 59.2%, as measured by the state assessment by the end of the school year, June 2020. B. Increase the overall percentage of ELA proficient FRL students at Vegas Verdes Elementary School from 51.5% 2016 to 55%, as measured by the state assessment by the end of the school year, June 2020. C. Maintain or increase the overall percentage of ELA adequate growth percentile of students at Vegas Verdes Elementary School to 58% or above as measured by the state assessment by the end of the school year, June 2020. D. Maintain or increase overall percentage of ELA adequate growth percentile of FRL students at Vegas Verdes Elementary School to 58% or above, as measured by the state assessment by the end of the school year, June 2020. Root causes. Increase in at-risk population, rezone of students with high needs and lack of fundamental reading skills. Bullet. Inconsistent implementation of high-quality standards-based Tier 1 instruction for all students in whole group and small group reading instruction, reading, comprehension strategies, fluency, phonics instruction, and vocabulary acquisition. Bullet. Lack of school-wide reading instructional materials to scaffold Tier I and Tier 2 instruction K-5. Measurable Objective 1. Increase the percent of all students above the 40th percentile in ELA from 41% fall to 56% winter and from 56% winter to 71% spring by 2020 as measured by MAP formative assessments. Measurable Objective 2. Increase the percent of K-5 students meeting or exceeding the established growth target from X% winter to Y% spring as measured by the MAP ELA growth assessment. Measurable Objective 3. 75% of all students, K-5, will meet projected RIT in reading as measured by MAP growth assessments. Measurable Objective 4. Increase the percent of students at or above norm grade level mean RIT in reading from 196,664, 29.5% fall to 313,664, 47.7% spring as measured by MAP growth assessments. Measurable Objective 5. Increase the number of students who graduate or move to a less supportive tier within the RTI system by 15% based on an N count throughout the school year. Component 2. Inquiry Process and Action Plan Design Priority Need Goal 1 based on the CNA. Identify all that apply. Checkbox. General Education, checkbox. FRL, checkbox. ELL, checkbox. IEP, ballot box. Other monitoring status and action plan monitoring plan action step. Please only list one action step per box. Resources and amount needed for implementation. People, time, materials, funding sources. List artifacts, evidence of progress, information, data that will verify the action step is in progress or has occurred. List timeline, benchmarks, and position responsible monitoring status 1.1 professional development required continuation from last year. Yes, NCCATS indicators. Last date review revised by planning team, November 4th, 2019 page 5 Nevada Department of Education, June 2017. Nevada Department of Education Vegas Verdes ES 2019-2020 Clark County School District provide professional development to implement REACH for Reading K-5, Victory 8A provide professional development to improve writing instruction and provide a consistent, scaffolded, school-wide writing structure across K-5 grades, right from the beginning. Victory 8A hire licensed staff, RBG3 strategist to support implementation of evidence-based programs. Victory 8F implement classroom walkthroughs with strategists and lead team members to identify actions and artifacts to establish effective instruction. Victory 8A provide professional development on MAP assessment, specifically reading reports and accessing data to guide instruction and reading. Victory 8A provide professional development on exact path, specifically reading reports and accessing data to guide instruction in reading for Tier 2. Victory 8A materials MAP growth assessment, EBI 3, district provided MAP skills, EBI 3, Victory, exact path, EBI 3, Victory, ready reading ready math, EBI 1, Victory, reach for reading, EBI 1, Victory, right from the beginning, EBIX, Victory, thinking maps, EBIX, Victory, people licensed staff, Victory, licensed substitutes, Victory, licensed extra duty, Victory, professional development agendas, sign-in sheets and evaluations, lesson plans and long-range plans, walkthrough data, MAP assessments, curriculum and standards-based progress monitoring tool, surveys, NEPF observation cycle, multiple measure assessments, grade level meeting agendas, SBAC scores, star reading results, read by grade 3, student literacy performance plan, PD plan days to support programs and goals in SPP, multi-tiered system of support timeline, August, May person positions responsible, administration, teachers, strategists, external providers, vendor provided PD and comments. This is the second year out of the franchise model. We are working to streamline our system and create a more efficient method for using our data effectively. Implementation of new programs, Reach for Reading and Everyday Math will be implemented school-wide for the first year. In addition, we are working on updating the school technology resources to match our new edition. Action step resources and amount needed list artifacts evidence timeline and position responsible monitoring status 1.2 family engagement required continuation from last year. Yes, NCCATS indicators, campus communication, parent curriculum nights, school organizational team, SOT meetings with parent membership, pastries with parents, parent notification of read by grade 3 student literacy performance plan, SLPP, and stakeholder surveys, resources and parenting classes, faces parent classes and spread the word Nevada monthly activities, spread the word Nevada representative, flyers handouts of specific strategies to address foundational concepts in reading, such as blending, building fluency, etc. Communities and schools, Victory, read by 3 strategists to lead SLPP data and plans with K-3 teachers, title, TDP, Victory. Classroom teachers will host open house and curriculum nights, Vegas Verdes Parent Center portable, faces, English language lessons, attendant meetings, strategists to provide PD and support, Victory. NCIS, Victory, parent sign-in sheets, spread the word Nevada reading logs, agendas and flyers, read by 3 student literacy performance plan, SLPP, August-May school counselor, read by 3 strategist, community and schools liaison, administration, classroom teachers, strategists NA comments. This is the second year out of the franchise model. We are working to streamline our system and create a more efficient method for using our data effectively using MAP data and multiple measures of assessment. Implementation of new programs, Reach for Reading and Everyday Math will be implemented school-wide for the first year. In addition, we are working on updating the school technology resources to match our new edition. 1.3 Curriculum Instruction Assessment required continuation from last year. Yes, NCCATS indicators. Last date review revised by planning team, November 4, 2019, page 6, Nevada Department of Education, June 2017. Nevada Department of Education Vegas Verdes ES 2019-2020 Clark County School District NA implement a comprehensive reading program K-5, Reach for Reading, in order to scaffold effective reading instruction and support both Tier I and Tier 2 instruction. Victory 8 hours. Implement right from the beginning thinking map materials to improve writing instruction and provide a consistent, scaffolded, school-wide writing structure across K-5 grades. Victory 8 hours. Utilize data from MAP assessment and MAP skills to guide instruction in reading. Utilize data from Exact Path to guide instruction in reading for Tier 2. Victory 8 hours. Provide support to students during the instructional day with certified temporary tutors. Victory 8F. Implement Kagan resources, accelerated reader, star reading, learning dynamics, and Reading Eggs provide before and after school tutoring for students. Implement an effective RTI plan. People licensed staff, RTI strategist, Title I, CTT, Victory, licensed staff, classroom teachers, Victory, materials Reach for Reading, EBI 1, Victory, MAP growth assessment, EBI 3, District provided MAP skills assessment 3.5, EBI 3, Victory, Exact Path, EBI 3, Victory, Tutoring, Title 3, Write the Beginning Thinking Maps, EBI 4, Victory, Kagan, Strategic, Renaissance Learning, Star Reading, AR, Strategic, Learning Dynamics, Strategic, Reading Eggs, Strategic, Professional Development Agendas, Sign-in sheets and evaluations, lesson plans and long-range plans, walkthrough data, MAP assessments, curriculum and standards-based progress monitoring tool, surveys, NEPF observation cycle, multiple measure assessments, grade level meeting agendas, SBAC scores, star reading results, read by grade 3, student literacy performance plan, PD plan days to support programs and goals in SPP, timeline, August, May person position responsible, administration, strategists, teachers comments. This is the second year out of the franchise model. We are working to streamline our system and create a more efficient method for using our data effectively using MAP data and multiple measures of assessment. Implementation of new programs, Reach for Reading and Everyday Math will be implemented school-wide for the first year. In addition, we are working on updating the school technology resources to match our new edition. 1.4 other optional continuation from last year, NCCATS indicators, comments, and a last date review revised by planning team, November 4th, 2019, page 7, Nevada Department of Education, June 2017. Nevada Department of Education Vegas Verdes ES 2019-2020 Clark County School District Priority Need Goal 2, Math, increase the overall percentage of math proficient.
Okay. I wanted you to kind of understand that these school plans provide absolutely no data that documents the children's ability to achieve and how many children are in specific grades. And it doesn't really tell you anything. It just says 54% to 39% or 75% will be, but it's not telling you anything. And you see the key indicator here is the number of children are 700 and something at the school, but then they said 600 and something of them will be somewhere at one time or another, but they don't disaggregate the data. You have no idea who's being supported there, and you have no idea how African-American children are being treated, as the services for the behavioral interventions do not exist at this visual, definition or documentation of what they're doing. See, the simple thing to understand this is that we are in the year 2021. And this is not a school plan because it tells the reader absolutely nothing about the support that is being provided there. And those parents that are on this team should be working with other parents, ensuring that they understand or have the opportunity to participate in the analyzation of the lack of outcomes or the modernization of what they're doing, because everybody has something at stake when they have their children enrolled in public school. And so this is one of them. I'm going to stop this share and pause the video for a moment because I want to come back. And this is one of those victory schools or Zoom schools. I want to come back and find one that's not either one. And then I want to share that one and see what's written there.
District wishes to any category or a different distribution of weights, the large school district must submit a request for a variance to use a different weight or distribution of weights to the department for approval. 4. Upon receipt of a request for a variance pursuant to subsection 2, the department shall review the proposed weights, distribution of weights or request for a variance and inform the large school district whether it approves the proposed weights, distribution of weights or request within 30 days. Once approved, the weights assigned for each category of pupil and the distribution of weights must be posted on the internet website of the large school district and made available to any person upon request. Correspondence related to the request for a variance from weights actual expenditures and teacher vacancies legal reference NRS 388G.690 annual determinations concerning actual expenditures for and teacher vacancies at each local school precinct for preceding school year. 1. On or before November 1st of the year after the first year that a large school district operates pursuant to the provisions of NRS 388G.5002, 388G.810 inclusive, and on or before November 1st of each year thereafter, the superintendent shall determine for the immediately preceding school year, A, the total per pupil allocation made to each local school precinct in the large school district and the actual amount expended by the large school district for the local school precinct. B, the amount budgeted by each local school precinct for teacher salaries and benefits and the actual amount expended by the large school district for teacher salaries and benefits for teachers employed at each local school precinct. C, the number of teacher vacancies at each local school precinct and the amount of money included in the allocation to that local school precinct, which the local school precinct used for other purposes as a result of those vacancies. And D, the amount budgeted by each local school precinct for each type of employee other than teachers and the actual amount expended by the large school district for salaries and benefits of such employees at each local school precinct. 2. The superintendent shall post the information determined pursuant to subsection 1 on the internet website of the large school district and make the information available to any person upon request. Information on school allocations and expenditures A, B, and D above via openbook.ccsd.net. Information on teacher vacancies see above via openbook.ccsd.net. School plans of operation legal reference NRS 388G.710 presentation of plan of operation at public meeting, submission of plan of operation for approval, adjustments to budget after plan of operation approved. 4. If the school associate superintendent, A, approves the plan of operation for a local school precinct, the school associate superintendent must notify the principal of the local school precinct and cause the plan of operation to be posted on the internet website of the large school district and on the internet website of the local school precinct and make the plan of operation available to any person upon request. B, does not approve the plan of operation for a local school precinct. The school associate superintendent must notify the principal of the local school precinct of the reasons for not approving the plan and post those reasons on the internet website of the large school district and on the internet website of the local school precinct and make the plan of operation available to any person upon request. The school associate superintendent must assist the principal as necessary to revise the plan of operation. 5. Any adjustment to the budget that the principal of the local school precinct determines is necessary after the plan of operation has been approved may be made upon consultation with the organizational team and approval of the school associate superintendent. School performance plan strategic budgets by school. All 2019-2020 school plans of operation were approved. Parent SOT elections where no PTA or PTO exists legal reference. NRS 388G.720 Organizational Team, Composition, Election of certain members, Immunity from liability for civil damages. D. The Association of Parents for the school, if there is one, must establish the process for nominating and electing these members pursuant to this paragraph. If no such association exists, the principal of the local school precinct must inform all parents and legal guardians of the opportunity to serve on the organizational team and provide the parents and guardians with information about the responsibilities associated with serving as a member of the organizational team, the manner in which to submit a name to be included on a ballot, the date on which a vote will be taken, and any other relevant information. The principal must post such information on the internet website of the local school precinct and provide the information to the superintendent, who shall post the information on the internet website of the large school district. The information must also be made available to any person upon request. School by school parent SOT election information survey results legal reference. NRS 388G.800 survey to be administered annually to certain persons involved with local school precincts and employees of central services. Publication of summary of results of surveys. 1. On or before May 1st of each year, the superintendent shall cause a survey to be administered to all persons involved with the local school precincts in the large school district to measure their satisfaction with the local school precincts. A survey must be administered to each employee of each such local school precinct by classification of employee. Such classifications must include, without limitation, principals, vice principals, and other administrative staff, teachers, custodians, counselors, and school nurses. B. Pupil who attends such the local school precinct. C. Parent or legal guardian of a child who attends such the local school precinct. 2. On or before May 1st of each year, the superintendent shall cause a survey to be administered to each employee of central services. The surveys must be administered to each employee by classification of employee within each department or other organizational unit of central services to measure the satisfaction of the employees concerning, without limitation, their ability to serve the local school precincts, provide services in a timely manner, and provide quality services to the local school precincts. Such a survey must also be administered to each school associate superintendent, principal, and teacher to determine their satisfaction with the services provided to the local school precincts by central services. 3. A summary of the results of the surveys administered pursuant to this section must be posted on the internet website of the large school district before the commencement of the next school year and be made available to any person upon request. Such a summary must identify results by each group of respondents and as overall results. 2018-2019 district-wide survey results, 2019-2020 district-wide survey results, central services survey results. Additional information: Clark County School District 2018 plan for the implementation of actions to finalize compliance with Assembly Bill 469, 2017 revision to view the joint implementation plan between CCSD and the Nevada Department of Education. Report abuse.
Well, that was certainly interesting. I'm going to pause this share. And then I'm going to pause the recording for a moment.
Strengths contribute to the principal's development of the school plan of operation. These SOTs will enable parents, students, staff, and community members to guide decisions that impact the school in an organized public forum. Each school site will be asked to form a school organizational team, which will have 4 main responsibilities: providing assistance and advice to the principal of the school to develop the plan of operation, which includes the school budget and the school performance plan; providing continued advice and assistance to the principal of the school in carrying out the plan of operation; assisting in the discussion of any additional authority to be transferred to the schools to carry out responsibilities; and assisting with the selection of the next principal whenever a vacancy occurs in the position of principal for the school. The school organizational team has both voting and non-voting members. The principal is a non-voting member because he or she already has the authority to make decisions with the advice and assistance of the team. Student members and community members are also non-voting members, but their input is essential in guiding and supporting the team's work and the principal's decisions. Voting members of the team include between 2 and 4 licensed staff, 1 support professional, or 2 if there are 4 licensed staff on the team, and between 3 and 6 parents or guardians. The voting members of the team must be 50% school staff and 50% parents or guardians. Based on the needs of the school community, the principal will determine the size of the SOT from the 3 available options that these requirements make possible. Identifying who should be in these seats on the SOT for each school is up to the school community. Licensed staff elections are held by the Clark County Education Association, and support professionals are elected through a process run by the Education Support Employees Association. If a PTA or PTO exists at a school, that organization will run an election for parent members. Otherwise, the principal can run an election that notifies all parents and guardians of the opportunity to serve on the team, how to be placed in a ballot, and when the vote will occur. Secondary principals also provide for an election of student members onto the team. This process must be open to any student at the school, and elections must be confidential and include the entire student body. Finally, once the team is formed, it can decide to select community representatives to join the team as non-voting members. Detailed information on how school organizational teams function is available at reorg.ccsd.net.
Well, that certainly was interesting. Let me just stop that share and pause recording.
The River Office of Education and the Sacramento County Office of Education. This work was supported in part by the California Comprehensive Center through funding by the U.S. Department of Education, PR Award number S283B120012. It does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of the U.S. Department of Education, and one should not assume endorsement by the federal government. Authors Nancy Bodenhausen, California Department of Education, Margaret Bird, California Comprehensive Center at Wested. Contributors Jason Arenas, Alameda County Office of Education, Melissa Bosanos, Riverside County Office of Education, Shar Johns, Nevada County Office of Education, Jen Mayer, Sacramento County Office of Education. Production team Joy Zimmerman, editor Wested Christian Holden, graphic designer Wested. Copyright 2017, California Department of Education. Permission to reproduce with the California Department of Education. Copyright notice is hereby granted. Suggested citation, California Department of Education, 2017. Family Engagement Toolkit, Continuous Improvement Through an Equity Lens. Sacramento, CA, author. Contents: Introduction, 1 Toolkit Overview, 5 Effective Family Engagement, 7 Laying the Foundation, 10 Getting Started, Where Are We Now? 14 The Process of Continuous Improvement, Plan, Do, Reflect, Adjust, 20 Conclusion, 35 Appendix A, Development of Toolkit and Key Themes from Literature on Family Engagement, 36 Appendix B Resources, 43 Appendix 100, Examples of Tools from a Fictitious District, 48 Appendix 500, Methods of Collecting Information, 66 References, 68 Family Engagement Toolkit. Introduction: The integral role of family engagement. 1 in school improvement has been the focus of increased attention throughout the United States in recent years, perhaps more so than at any time since the 1960s, when the importance of parental involvement was recognized in the original Elementary and Secondary Act, ESEA, which was part of the War on Poverty legislation. Driving this more recent push has been the growing recognition, grounded in research, that effective family engagement can contribute to improved student outcomes and to closing persistent achievement gaps among students of different racial and ethnic backgrounds and family income levels. Moreover, experts advocate for family engagement as an essential strategy for building the pathway to college and career readiness for all students, as well as an essential component of a systems approach to school turnaround. Weiss, Lopez, Rosenberg, 2010, Center on School Turnaround, 2017. State and federal legislation reflects this increased attention. By 2013, 39 states and the District of Columbia had enacted laws calling for the implementation of family engagement policies. Mapp and Kuttner, 2013. The 2015 reauthorization of ESEA, the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA, continues to emphasize family engagement as a necessary element for improving student outcomes. For example, Title I of ESSA continues to require parent and family engagement policies and programs. Section 1116, Title III requires local education agencies, LEAs, to strengthen parent, family, and community engagement in programs that serve English learners. Section 3111, B2, D, IV. As a result of all this, growing numbers of districts and schools around the country have been engaging families in creative and effective ways. Yet the author's broad experience working closely with districts and schools throughout California suggests that many educators continue to struggle with the how-to of translating positive research findings about family engagement into effective and sustainable structures and practices, especially ones that embrace the full range of diverse families in their community. This toolkit was developed to help districts and schools by providing practical planning and evaluation tools that support efforts to engage all families, particularly those of underrepresented and underserved students. The term family engagement is used in this toolkit for a number of reasons. To reflect the term used in the Every Student Succeeds Act of 2015, because the research and practice in the field has evolved from using parent to including the broader term family, and because engagement denotes a shared responsibility for designing and building a partnership between home and school. Family Engagement Toolkit Introduction. As is the case for much of the family engagement research, this toolkit uses the term family in its broadest sense to include any adults who serve a parental role in children's lives. This term includes, for example, birth and adoptive parents, grandparents and other adult relatives, foster parents and other non-related legal guardians, and adults who are close to children, although they may not have a guardian role, such as a pastor or youth group counselor. Development of the toolkit. Each of the 6 individuals involved in developing this toolkit comes from a different California-based education entity that has extensive responsibility for and experience with supporting districts and schools on a range of education improvement efforts, including strengthening family engagement. Those entities are the California Comprehensive Center at Wested, California Department of Education, specifically its Title I Policy and Program Guidance Office, and 4 California County Offices of Education, Alameda, Nevada, Riverside, and Sacramento. In our work with districts and schools, we frequently hear some version of the following questions. How can we increase the engagement of underrepresented families? How can we help teachers and administrators become more skilled and comfortable working with all families? What kind of family engagement activities are likely to lead to the biggest learning advances for students? How can we know if our family engagement efforts are having the desired effect? In considering how to help educators address these important questions in the unique context of their district or school, we reviewed the research on family engagement, reflected on our collective years of technical assistance work in districts and schools, and conducted a review of district-level plans for family engagement from across California. Details about the research on family engagement and our review of district plans are included in Appendix A. In the course of this preparation, we identified a handful of particular challenges related to family engagement that motivated us to develop this toolkit. Why family engagement activities are often isolated from other initiatives in districts. Why family engagement staff in districts often work in a silo, not in collaboration with other district departments. Why families of low-income students and families of students of color are often underrepresented in family engagement activities. Why educators struggle with how to evaluate family engagement programs and activities beyond tracking the number of participants attending events. Why, while opportunities for family members to gain skills and knowledge are growing, building educators' capacity to partner with families is not yet a focus in many districts. The toolkit is designed to address the above questions and challenges. Family Engagement Toolkit Introduction. Unique aspects of the toolkit addresses the importance of integrating family engagement with each district's student learning goals. Engaging families will contribute to improving student learning outcomes only when family engagement is integrated into all district goals and initiatives for student learning, including both academic and social emotional learning goals. Accordingly, this toolkit shows how family engagement can be tied to specific student learning goals. The toolkit does not provide a one-size-fits-all model of family engagement, nor a do-it-once-and-you-redone model. Instead, it identifies key ingredients of a successful program, describes how to make sure family engagement activities are matched to the unique conditions and initiatives of each district, and outlines a process for continuous improvement of family engagement efforts. Includes an explicit commitment to equity in every phase of family engagement. Engaging diverse families has the potential to contribute to closing achievement gaps between groups of students, but to realize that potential requires a dedication to using an equity lens in all aspects of the work. The types of diversity among students and families include different racial, ethnic, linguistic, cultural, and religious backgrounds, and different gender identities, sexual orientations, family structures, and abilities or special needs. All of these characteristics and more must be considered when engaging families. The toolkit describes two critical dimensions of family engagement: building relationships and connecting to student learning, that are specifically designed to engage diverse families. These dimensions are described at length in the Effective Family Engagement section of the toolkit, starting on page 7. Equally important, the toolkit provides an equity lens in the form of equity questions to consider in planning, implementing, and evaluating family engagement. It also provides strategies and tools to help districts overcome the challenges to engaging underserved and underrepresented families in order to engage families from all student groups. Uses the dual capacity building framework in planning and implementation of family engagement. The toolkit is grounded in the concepts set forth in Partners in Education, a dual capacity building framework for family school partnerships, Mapp and Kuttner, 2013. A research-based framework funded by and published in collaboration with the U.S. Department of Education in 2013. As its name suggests, the dual capacity building framework calls on districts to increase the family engagement-related knowledge, understanding, to social and emotional learning. SEL refers to the process through which children and adults acquire and effectively apply the knowledge, attitudes, and skills necessary to understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. Definition from the Collaborative for Academic, Social and Emotional Learning, retrieved 9.19.16 at http://www.ksl.org/social-emotional learning. 3 Family Engagement Toolkit Introduction. Foreign skills of educators and families alike. This toolkit describes how to embed such capacity building in the processes of planning and implementing family engagement activities, with a special emphasis on building educator capacity. We particularly emphasize building educator capacity because, in our experience, districts tend to be more focused on building families' capacity than on building educators' capacity. For example, growing numbers of districts are implementing parent universities or other parent trainings and staffing schools with family liaison or community outreach workers who work with families. These are important and valuable initiatives and need to be supported. At the same time, districts may be assuming that teachers already have the skills and confidence to engage families, when in fact many educators need additional professional learning in this area. Focuses on the role of the district and the district coordinator in leading a process of continuous improvement at schools across the district. Both research and reports of promising practices have emphasized the critical role that districts play in efforts to engage families. Westmoreland, Rosenberg, Lopez, and Weiss, 2009. The toolkit focuses on the role of the district and is intended for use by district family engagement leaders, most especially the district's family engagement coordinator or someone in an equivalent position. It emphasizes the importance of having a district-level family engagement team that works hand in hand with the coordinator to guide the work of engaging families at schools throughout the district. Whether a district already has an extensive program of family engagement or is just starting to develop one, this toolkit can help the district take a new look at how to plan, implement, evaluate, and continuously improve those efforts in order to more directly support student success and achieve equitably student outcomes. Family Engagement Toolkit Introduction. Toolkit Overview. This toolkit is organized into several sections that are briefly introduced immediately below. Each one includes key questions for a district family engagement team consider, along with equity questions to help the team apply an equity lens to dig deeper and strengthen the engagement of all of the diverse groups of families in the district. In addition, each section includes tools to support the work of the district team. An example of each tool filled out with data from a fictitious district is included in Appendix 100. The tools themselves are available as editable Word versions in the companion document. The toolkit includes icons to identify the critical dimensions and important elements in each section. Trusting relationships connect to learning key questions, equity questions, tools, family engagement tools, editable templates. They can be revised as needed to meet the needs of the district. Because context, strengths, and challenges are unique in each district and can change over time, be sure to use current information from your own district in completing the tools. Effective family engagement. This section includes a description of the two critical dimensions of family engagement: building trusting relationships and connecting to student learning. It describes what educators and families will know and be able to do if these dimensions are strong, and it includes a matrix showing how districts can strengthen activities on these critical dimensions. Laying the foundation. This section addresses the importance of establishing a district-level family engagement team, creating a district vision statement for family engagement, discussing core beliefs, and ensuring that the vision statement and implementation plans for family engagement are reflected in district and school policies and plans. The family engagement coordinator works closely with the team to plan, implement, and evaluate the family engagement work in the district. Even if your district cannot establish this team right away, you can still use the suggestions and tools in the subsequent sections of the toolkit. 5. Family Engagement Toolkit Overview. Getting started. Where are we now? This section provides guidance on mapping community and family assets that can support positive student outcomes, identifying the district's current strengths and challenges related to family engagement, and determining how strong your current family engagement program is in relation to the two dimensions in the matrix. The process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. This section includes suggestions for strengthening the two dimensions of family engagement through a 4-phase continuous improvement process: plan, do, reflect, and adjust, PDRA. In this process, the family engagement team works on building capacity for educators and families, using an equity lens to ensure engagement of all families. The section describes high-leverage strategies and activities and includes examples of what each PDRA phase might look like in a district. If a district already uses a similar process, these PDRA activities can be integrated into it. The section also introduces tools to support work in each PDRA phase. The tools themselves, in editable form, are available in the companion Word document, Family Engagement Tools, Editable Templates. Appendix A. Development of toolkit and key themes from literature on family engagement. This appendix describes how the toolkit came to be and lays out the themes and research and promising practices that inform toolkit content. It also describes the toolkit developers' review of local control accountability plans, LCAPs, in California, as well as highlights from an LCAP review by the Public Policy Institute of California. Appendix B Resources. This appendix includes a listing of resources available to support the work of family engagement. Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. This appendix includes examples of tools included in this toolkit that have been filled out using data from a fictitious district. Appendix 500. Methods of collecting information. This appendix consists of a table that compares the advantages and disadvantages of 8 different data collection methods. 6. Family Engagement Toolkit Overview. Effective family engagement. Effective family engagement has been described as an intentional and systemic partnership of educators, families, and community members who share responsibility for a student's preparation for school, work, and life from the time the child is born to young adulthood. Weiss, Lopez and Rosenberg, 2010. To build an effective partnership, educators, families, and community members need to develop the knowledge and skills to work together, and schools must purposefully integrate family and community engagement with goals for students' learning and thriving. California Department of Education, 2017. A definition, para. 3. This description of family engagement is grounded in the work of key family engagement scholars and researchers of the last 4 decades, including Joyce Epstein at Johns Hopkins University, Karen Mapp at the Harvard Graduate School of Education, and Ann Henderson at the Annenberg Institute for School Reform at Brown University. It also aligns to the 2013 Dual Capacity Building Framework. 2 critical dimensions of family engagement. We suggest that having schools in which educators and families work as partners to support student learning requires the continuous strengthening of 2 critical dimensions of family engagement: trusting relationships between educators and families, and the connections of family engagement activities and efforts to student learning, referred to hereafter as connections to learning. Trusting relationships are weak when educators make assumptions that some families don't value education or are not interested in supporting student learning. Educators do not communicate effectively with families. Families do not feel welcome at their child's school and do not attend events at the school. 7. Family Engagement Toolkit. Effective family engagement. Trusting relationships are strong when educators are culturally responsive and reach out to families to build partnerships. All families feel welcome and respected at their child's school. Educators and family leaders jointly plan and lead family engagement activities. Connections to student learning are weak when educators do not understand how to engage families to support student learning. Families do not feel knowledgeable or confident about how to provide support for learning. Family engagement activities are not related to student learning outcomes. Connections to student learning are strong when family engagement activities are aligned with district goals for student outcomes. Families and educators engage in 2-way communication about what students are learning at school. Family engagement activities help families to provide support at home for learning. The matrix on the following page shows how these 2 dimensions of family engagement are complementary, and it includes an example of activities in each of the 4 quadrants. Family Engagement Toolkit. Effective family engagement. Figure 1. Family engagement matrix. Strong connections to student learning. Weak trusting strong relationships. Educators organize math nights and give information to families, but there are limited opportunities for dialogue and few families attend. Educators and family leaders jointly plan interactive trainings for family members on how to support college and career readiness. Educators send out announcements about meetings and information on school social events via email, text, and social media. Examples: families are comfortable participating in volunteering for social events, fundraising, etc., but don't have opportunities to develop skills or knowledge to support student learning. 9. Family Engagement Toolkit. Effective family engagement. laying the foundation for important actions. Lay the foundation for effective family engagement. The first is to establish a district-level family engagement team that will work closely with and offer guidance and support to the district family engagement coordinator. The other actions are discussing core beliefs about family engagement, agreeing on a district vision statement for family engagement based on those beliefs, and reviewing district and school family engagement policies. Each action is described more fully below. Establish a district family engagement team. Establishing a team of district and school level educators, staff members, family members, and community representatives for the planning process enables the district to benefit from the collective perspectives they bring. Johns Hopkins University researcher Dr. Joyce Epstein was an early advocate of having family engagement teams, and her book, School, Family and Community Partnerships, Your Handbook for Action, 2009, is a foundational resource in the field. Epstein emphasizes the importance of including both family members and educators on such teams, along with others who have important connections with families and students. By including educators and staff who have roles in different programs, such as special education, Title I, English Learner Services, Student Services, and Health and Wellness, the team can better align family engagement activities across existing district initiatives. On the family side, it is important to include those who reflect the diversity in the district to ensure that the voices of all families are reflected in the design, implementation, and evaluation of family engagement activities. Districts using Johns Hopkins University's Action Team for Partnerships model may want to include representatives of site-based action teams on the family engagement team. We suggest you consider people in the following roles for your team: Y District Family Engagement Coordinator, Y District, State, and Federal Program Staff, e.g., programs for English learner students, students with disabilities, students in foster care, and students who are homeless. Y Site Administrator, S, Y Teacher, S, Y Parent Leader, S, including members of advisory committees, e.g., an English Learner Advisory Committee, a Special Education Advisory Committee, 10 Family Engagement Toolkit, laying the foundation. Y Community Partner, S, Y Support Staff, e.g., custodian, nurse, receptionist, classroom aide. Establishing a district family engagement team that will work closely with the family engagement coordinator can help ensure that family engagement activities are an integral part of all district initiatives, and having a team with a broad-based membership increases the likelihood of greater participation in those activities by both educators and families. Key questions to consider in establishing a district family engagement team: Y, who has been successful in engaging diverse families at their school site? Y, who is influential in the district and or community and could help to promote family engagement activities? Y, who will be able to bring the perspective of teachers and staff to the team? Y, who are the parents of students in programs that could bring their perspective, e.g., special education, English learner programs, Title I. Equity questions to consider in establishing a district family engagement team: why have we identified prospective parent leaders who are representative of our diverse families? Have we considered all forms of diversity, such as socioeconomic, racial, ethnic, cultural, linguistic, gender identity, and family definition, e.g., foster families? Why have we sought out family leaders who can bring the perspective of families that have historically been underrepresented on district leadership teams? Why does the final list of prospective team members reflect the diversity of our district? Why are we scheduling meetings at a time that is convenient and realistic for all team members? Why do we need to provide transportation, childcare, or translation interpreting services for any team members? Tool 1 can help you to brainstorm prospective members of your district family engagement team. An example of Tool 1 that has been filled out using data from a fictitious district is available in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document, Family Engagement Tools, Editable Templates. Discuss core beliefs about family engagement. Educators and family members sometimes hold different core beliefs about family engagement. These beliefs often come to light during informal conversations, but may not generally be discussed in a thoughtful way that can lead to greater understanding about individuals' experiences, hopes, and fears or concerns. Sometimes educators and family members are not fully aware of their own core beliefs or make assumptions about the beliefs of others. Core beliefs can impact the success of school-family partnerships. 11 Family Engagement Toolkit, laying the foundation. Members of the family engagement team can benefit from discussing their core beliefs about the capabilities of families and the role of educators. It may be difficult for them to reach agreement on core beliefs right away. However, starting the conversation will help team members learn about each other's experiences and views on engaging families. In Beyond the Bake Sale, The Essential Guide to Family School Partnerships, Henderson, Mapp, Johnson, and Davies, 2007, another foundational resource for family engagement, the authors suggest 4 core beliefs that are important for educators to hold. Why all families have dreams for their children and want the best for them. Why all families have the capacity to support their children's learning. Why families and school staff should be equal partners. Why responsibility for building and sustaining partnerships between school, home, and community rests primarily with school staff, especially school leaders. One way to discuss core beliefs is to ask all team members to reflect on how much they agree or disagree with each of these 4 core beliefs and then to share their thoughts. Past experiences, fears, and concerns may make it difficult for some team members to embrace all these beliefs, so it is important to have a well-facilitated discussion. Additional tools for facilitating this discussion are included in Beyond the Bake Sale. Agree on a vision statement for family engagement. A district team's agreement on a vision statement for family engagement amounts to deciding on a destination. Once the destination is determined, the plan to get there is easier to develop. A vision statement expresses agreed upon ideals. See samples below. It can be shared with other stakeholders to build family engagement support across the district. Sample vision statements. Every school is a community of educators and families who work together as partners, sharing responsibility and leadership, and advocating for the success of all children. All educators and families in the district will be knowledgeable and confident to work as partners and share responsibility for student learning. 12 To reach agreement on a vision statement, we suggest the district family engagement team do the following. Why review some of the research on family engagement described in Appendix A at the end of this toolkit. Family Engagement Toolkit, laying the foundation. Why review the current district vision statement for family engagement if there is one? See section below on reviewing district and school parent involvement or family engagement policies. Why engage in a facilitated discussion about a new vision statement? Key questions to consider in discussing a vision statement. Why, when our district has outstanding family engagement that promotes student achievement, what will it look like? Why, for each stakeholder group, i.e., families, teachers, administrators, students, staff, and community groups, what will they know or be able to do? How will they feel? And what will they be doing? Equity questions to consider in discussing a vision statement. Will this vision statement resonate with families of all student groups? Why does this vision statement include a potential role for all stakeholders? Will this vision statement serve as an inspiration for all stakeholders? Tool 2 provides a process for considering the questions above and creating a district vision statement for family engagement. An example of Tool 2 that has been filled out using data from a fictitious district is available in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document, Family Engagement Tools, Editable Templates. Review district and school family engagement policies. Written district and school family engagement policies establish the agency's expectations and objectives for meaningful parent and family involvement. ESSA, Section 1116(2). The policies also describe the way those expectations will be carried out. In other words, Policies describe the planned course of action for the district and schools to engage families as partners. These publicly available policies are required for districts and schools receiving Title I funds, and they must address specific components of family engagement. In districts and schools receiving Title I funding, parents of Title I students or other family members must be involved in the development and annual evaluation revision of the policies. A district may wish to involve the family engagement team in the fulfillment of these responsibilities. Importantly, the team should be familiar with the policies and, in its ongoing work, ensure that the vision statement and plans for family engagement are aligned with and outlined in these policies. 13 Family Engagement Toolkit, laying the foundation. Getting started. Where are we now? When the district has laid the foundation by establishing a family engagement team, discussing core beliefs, agreeing on a vision statement, and reviewing current district and school family engagement policies, the real work of engaging families begins. An assessment of the current family engagement situation is the starting point for strengthening the two critical dimensions. The team will need to learn about the family eyes in the district, the current relationships between educators and families, and the effectiveness of existing family engagement activities. This information will become the basis for beginning the PDRA process. Family engagement activities may sometimes be planned based on assumptions about the needs of families, on what has always been done in the district, or on what has worked in another district. But just as planning teams have learned to use data in academic planning and in areas of school climate, e.g., attendance or discipline, so too should districts use data in family engagement planning. Each district context is different, so understanding the strengths or assets in your district, as well as your unique challenges, is key to building a family engagement program that effectively engages all of your families. We suggest your family engagement team investigate the current situation and gather data in the following areas. Why strengths and challenges of families in the district? Why current levels of trusting relationships between educators and families? Why current levels of connections of family engagement activities to student learning? Why strengths and challenges of existing family engagement activities? Strengths and challenges of families in the district. The families in every district have unique strengths and challenges. Using an assets-based or strengths-based approach to understanding families will help the team be more culturally responsive and help guard against making negative assumptions about families. 14 Family Engagement Toolkit, getting started. Where are we now? CP 46 for research in the section, Understanding Families in Resources. For more information about these approaches, the team needs to learn about the support and resources that families and communities provide for their children, as well as the challenges. Why, what languages are spoken in our communities they experience in caring for their children and supporting their learning. Key questions for learning about strengths and challenges of your families. How long have families lived in the neighborhoods or had children attending the district schools? Why, who are the leaders that have influence in different communities? Why, what are the assets in the community, e.g., religious organizations, small businesses, health and social service agencies, recreation facilities? Why, what have been families' experiences of their school? Have they felt welcome at school and district offices? Are there differences in the experiences of families in different groups, e.g., families of English learner students, of students with disabilities, or from particular racial or ethnic backgrounds? Why, if families are living in poverty, is it due to recent changes in the local economy, or is intergenerational poverty a characteristic of many families? Why, what previous experience with schooling do families have, e.g., in previous 15 eons and or in other countries? Why are immigrant families first or second generation immigrants? Are they refugees? How recently have they arrived in the U.S.? How many students are in foster care or living with grandparents or other family members who serve as their guardians? Keep in mind that one district may include many different communities, and families' experiences, strengths, and challenges may differ from one community to another. Looking for data about the strengths and challenges of families in the district can be an opportunity to collaborate with leaders in various district programs, e.g., after-school programs or English learner programs, or to partner with community-based organizations. Some of these organizations may already conduct asset or opportunity mapping to learn about their communities and may be working to promote equitable access and outcomes for students. The data you gather about families in the district may also be useful to teachers in the classroom. For example, when educators are aware of the support and resources in their students' community, they can incorporate these in the curriculum and partner with community leaders and institutions to support student learning. Wested, 2010. Family Engagement Toolkit Getting Started. Where are we now? Current levels of trusting relationships between educators and families. We suggest gathering data both from educators and from diverse families to assess the current level of trusting relationships between educators and families. For guidance on asking educators about their beliefs, see Discuss Core Beliefs About Family Engagement, p. 11. Key questions to ask educators. How well do you know your students' families? Why? What are your beliefs about engaging families? How confident are you in reaching out to all families? Why would you benefit from structured practice and listening to families' concerns and getting input from families about their children's education? Key questions to ask families. Why do you feel welcome at your child's school? Why do you feel comfortable talking with your child's teacher? Why do you feel respected by educators at your child's school? 16. Your district may already collect some of this information, or you may be able to add some or all of these questions to existing data collection tools. For additional suggestions on how to gather this data and information on survey resources, see the box, How to Gather Evidence, below. Tool 3 can help you organize data gathering about the current levels of trusting relationships between educators and families. The tool asks the team to describe the evidence already gathered, identify additional evidence to gather, and determine the next steps for gathering that evidence. Once the team reviews all the evidence, the team can draw from it to identify needs. There is a place on the tool for documenting the needs. In turn, those needs are used to define improvement objectives during the plan phase of the continuous improvement process. An example of Tool 3 that has been filled out using data from a fictitious district is available in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document, Family Engagement Tools, Editable Templates, Family Engagement Toolkit Getting Started. Where are we now? How to gather evidence. A variety of methods may be used to gather evidence to answer important questions. If your district asks parents to complete a climate survey, you can use the survey data. Other methods for collecting evidence include walkthroughs, focus groups, home visits, parent surveys, and self-assessment rubrics. Be sure to discuss with your team exactly what questions you are trying to answer to determine whether any particular method of gathering data would be more appropriate than another for a given question. To assist your team in deciding which method to use, see the chart in Appendix 500 that shows some benefits of each method. For example, when you use a survey in a needs assessment, you can establish an information baseline for comparison with future survey results. When a diverse group conducts a walkthrough of a district office or school site using a common observation tool, family engagement planners can learn how the school and district environments may feel more welcoming to some families than to others. Designing a survey is best done with the help of assessment professionals. It is easy to introduce bias in the way questions are worded, or to ask multiple questions within one survey question, which makes it difficult to interpret the answers. Please see the resources section of this toolkit, page 43, for guidance on designing surveys and gathering data for assessing your current situation. 17 current levels of connections to student learning. We suggest gathering data both from educators and from a diverse range of families to assess the current level of connections to student learning. Key questions to ask district administrators. Why is family engagement considered a strategy to achieve district goals? Why do district plans include family engagement actions as part of each student learning goal? Key questions to ask site-level educators. Why at Title I schools do school parent compacts outline specific ways for families to support student learning? ESSA, Section 1116D, requires school parent compacts. Why do school plans include family engagement actions as part of each student learning goal? Why, to what extent do educators at your site have the knowledge, skills, and confidence to dialogue with families about student learning, e.g., sharing student data and learning strategies? Partner with families to support student learning. Key questions to ask families. Family Engagement Toolkit getting started. Where are we now? Why, to what extent do you have the knowledge, skills, and confidence to provide support at home for learning? Partner with educators to support your child's learning. Your district may already collect some of this information, or you may be able to add some or all of these questions to existing data collection tools. For additional suggestions on how to gather this data, please see the box, How to Gather Evidence, above. Tool 4 can help you organize data gathering about current levels of connections to student learning. Similar to Tool 3, this tool asks the team to describe existing evidence, identify additional evidence to gather, and determine the next steps for gathering that evidence. Once the team reviews all of the evidence, members can draw from it to identify needs. There is a place on the tool for documenting them. In turn, those needs can be used to define improvement objectives during the plan phase of the continuous improvement process. An example of Tool 4 that has been filled out using data from a fictitious district is available in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document, Family Engagement Tools, Editable Templates. When you investigate the current levels of trusting relationships and of connections to student learning, be sure to examine whether there are differences in the 18 responses for different groups of families, for different educators, different sites, etc. For example, equity questions for educators. Why do educators have more or less confidence engaging in dialogue with some groups of families compared to other groups of families? Why do educators in some grade levels or at some school sites express more confidence about engaging in dialogue or partnering with families compared to educators in other grade levels or at different school sites? Equity questions for families. Why do some families feel more welcome at district schools than others? Why do some families feel more respected by educators than others? Why are the responses from families different between elementary and secondary or between different school sites? Family Engagement Toolkit getting started. Where are we now? Strengths and challenges of existing family engagement activities. It is important that the team identify the strengths and challenges of existing family engagement activities in the district and its schools before getting started on planning new or expanded family engagement efforts. Some activities may have been in place for many years and may need to be looked at with a new perspective using the two critical dimensions. The team may find that activities at one school can be replicated or modified for other sites. Key questions in assessing existing family engagement activities in the district and its schools. How well do existing family engagement activities contribute to strengthening trusting relationships, and how could they be improved? How well do family engagement activities connect to student learning, and how might those connections be strengthened? Tool 5 is designed to use with the team to reflect on existing family engagement activities. The tool asks the team to reflect on current activities and determine how well each one contributes to building trusting relationships and how well each one connects to student learning. The tool includes a space in which to identify how each activity can be 19 improved in order to strengthen the two dimensions of family engagement. An example of Tool 5 that has been filled out using data from a fictitious district is available in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document, Family Engagement Tools, Editable Templates, Family Engagement Toolkit getting started. Where are we now? The process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. The process of continuous improvement includes 4 phases: plan, do, reflect, and adjust. For each phase described below, key questions and equity questions are provided to help the district's family engagement team build the capacity of both educators and families and strengthen the two critical dimensions of family engagement. Each phase includes one or more tools, with examples using data from a fictitious district in Appendix 100, and corresponding tools to customize for the district in the companion Word document. Family engagement tools, editable templates. Phase 1. Plan after gathering evidence and conducting an in-depth assessment of the current situation in the district. The family engagement team can move on to make informed decisions about what needs to be done to improve its family engagement and how to do it. Thorough planning can make the difference in whether family engagement activities engage most of the families in the district and support student learning, or whether only a few families participate and activities have a limited impact on student learning. Adjust, plan, reflect. 220. The planning phase involves the following steps for each of the two critical dimensions. 1. Define your objectives. 2. Design activities to accomplish your objectives. 3. Identify progress indicators that will tell you if the activities are happening and how effective they are. Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. 21. Following is an overview of the 3 steps, followed by specific suggestions for using the steps to plan how to strengthen each of the 2 dimensions. Define your objectives. To define family engagement objectives related to district goals and design activities to accomplish them, you will need to use your findings from the previous section. Getting started. Where are we now? You will also need to consider research and evidence on promising practices in family engagement. See Appendices A and B. We suggest using the approach laid out in the Dual Capacity Building Framework. As described in the introduction to this toolkit, dual capacity building refers to building the capacity of educators as well as of families through thoughtfully planned activities. The framework breaks capacity into 4 areas. In this toolkit, we will focus on one of those 4 areas, knowledge and skills, but we encourage readers to become familiar with all the areas of capacity addressed in the framework. Key questions to help you define objectives for each of the 2 dimensions. Why? What do educators need to know? Why? What do educators need to be able to do? Why? What do family members need to know? Why? What do family members need to be able to do? We also suggest that in the planning process, the team use its state framework whenever possible. In California, the California Department of Education's Family Engagement Framework 2014 includes district principles and implementation rubrics that align with the dual capacity building approach, with state and national statutory family engagement requirements, and with research. Design activities related to each critical dimension of family engagement. The activities the team designs should aim to help accomplish the objectives the team has identified. As your team designs activities, keep in mind the following guidelines from the Dual Capacity Building Framework, Map and Kuttner, 2013, for designing partnership opportunities. Why? Focus on empowering and enabling participants to be confident, active, knowledgeable, and informed. Don't limit family engagement to providing supports and services to families. Why? Bring families and school staff together for shared learning that promotes networking. Why? Make activities interactive so participants have an opportunity to try out new skills. Don't limit activities to disseminating information. Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. 20. To identify progress indicators. Progress indicators will tell you whether the activities the team planned are happening and how effective they are. In some cases, a progress indicator, such as feedback from an exit card or a short survey, is useful for gathering information immediately after an event. Other progress indicators, such as data gathered in reports from teachers, attendance clerks, or surveys of educators, families, and students, will be collected periodically during the year or at the end of the school year. More information on progress indicators can be found in the reflect phase of the PDRA continuous improvement process. Objectives and activities to strengthen trusting relationships. The responsibility for strengthening trusting relationships between educators and families falls primarily on educators. Once trusting relationships have been established and the district has engaged families reflecting the diversity of the district, parent leaders may be able to assist in maintaining those relationships. For example, serving as parent ambassadors to new and incoming families. Data from the process described above and getting started will help the team define objectives and design activities that match the needs and conditions in the district in order to strengthen trusting relationships. To begin strengthening relationships, we recommend 2 high-level age strategies. Why support educators to learn about the families in the district? Why create welcoming environments in all school sites and district offices? Support educators to learn about the families in the district. When districts begin a family engagement effort by looking for assets and families and community ties, educators will recognize the resources families contribute to stronger school family partnerships and to improved school and student performance. Through respectful listening, educators can understand the strengths and challenges of diverse families in school communities. When educators do that, families feel respected and valued, and they are more likely to participate. An example of an objective and related activities for supporting educators to learn more about families in their district follow. Sample objective. Why educators will understand the assets and challenges among families in their school community. Sample activities for building educators' capacity to meet the objective. Train staff to conduct home visits before school starts. Train staff to make positive phone calls to families. Family engagement toolkit. The process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. Why conduct asset mapping of communities in the district? Why provide guidance to administrators on holding informal coffee chats connected to student learning goals? Why invite community leaders to share the history and experiences of their community with district educators? Create welcoming environments at all school sites and in all district offices. A frequent comment the toolkit developers have heard from educators is, we plan great family engagement activities and events, but only the same few parents come every time. In some families and communities, there is a history of miscommunication with and distrust of educators, and in some districts, families do not feel welcomed as partners. When families do feel welcome at district meetings or in their children's school, they are more likely to participate and to reach out to teachers and other educators to find out how they can support their student. What can educators do to help ensure that families feel comfortable and appreciated in their children's district and school? Education environments are welcoming when district or school staff greet families warmly and treat them with respect. A welcoming message that we value you and want you to be our partner in supporting your student can be conveyed by the signs on the wall, the cleanliness of district school facilities, and by having staff members who speak the home language of students 23 and are readily available to interpret. To name a few examples, the authors of Beyond the Bake Sale, Henderson, Mapp, Johnson, and Davies, 2007, describe 4 types of schools: fortress schools, come if we call schools, open door schools, and partner schools. In outlining these 4 school types, they offer insight into the explicit and implicit messages conveyed to families by educators and provide guidance on how to build a school that welcomes families as partners. In the fortress school, the message is, we don't want you here. In the come if we call school, the message is, we'll take care of your students and don't bother us unless we call you. In open door schools, there may be a welcoming message, but the underlying attitude is that we know what is best for your child. The partnership school, in contrast, explicitly welcomes families to share responsibility for the learning and success of the students. Families from different backgrounds may experience the district and schools in different ways, with some finding their child's district or school welcoming, while others find them less welcoming, or even off-putting. When using an equity lens, educators listen to and understand the experience of families of all the groups of students in the school community. With each new school year, educators must reconsider the families in their district because some families will have left and new families will have arrived. Creating an environment that strengthens trusting relationships is not something that can be undertaken just once and then it's done. It is an ongoing process that needs to be a focus of family engagement work throughout every school year. Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement, plan, do, reflect, adjust. An example of an objective and activities for creating welcoming environments follow. Sample objective. Why the environment at all district offices and school sites is welcoming to all families. Sample activities for building educators' capacity to meet the objective. Why prepare family-friendly information materials in multiple languages. Why provide professional development to all staff in cultural responsiveness. Hire, train, and supervise family liaison to serve as point people to develop family engagement at all school sites. Why provide professional development to site administrators on the value and importance of engaging diverse families and on strategies to engage diverse families. Why provide guidance to school sites for organizing family observation days, i.e., days when family members are invited to observe classrooms. Tool 6 is a planning tool for strengthening trusting relationships that helps your team put together objectives, activities, and progress indicators. An example of Tool 6 showing the plan of a fictitious district is available in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document. Family Engagement Tools, Editable Templates. 24 in the example. The district team plans to strengthen trusting relationships by supporting educators to learn about families and by creating welcoming environments at school sites. Objectives and activities to strengthen connections to student learning. It is important to use the district's current goals for student learning as the starting point for strengthening connections to student learning. Such goals might include increasing student attendance, supporting the English proficiency of English learner students, improving the algebra pass rates, or supporting positive discipline initiatives. If you are in the early stages of developing your family engagement program, we suggest choosing one or two goal areas to focus on. Ideally, as family engagement work grows, family engagement activities will be embedded in the plan for each of the district's student learning goals. Be sure to use data from the process described above in getting started to help define objectives and design activities that match the needs and conditions in your district to strengthen connections to student learning. To begin strengthening the connections, we recommend 2 high-leverage strategies. 1. Focus on assisting families to provide support at home for learning. 2. Promote meaningful two-way communication between home and school. Assist families to provide support at home for learning. This toolkit considers student learning to include both academic learning and social and emotional learning. The phrase, support at home for learning, was carefully crafted to Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement, plan, do, reflect, adjust. Emphasize that the developers define this support in the broadest sense. We see support at home for learning as including a continuum of activities, starting with meeting students' basic needs and extending to supporting learning activities at home. Families support learning when they provide food, clothing, and shelter for their children. They also do so when they ensure that their children get to school each day, communicate high expectations for their children's education attainment, and set aside space for doing homework. Families also support learning through everyday activities, such as modeling how to budget expenses at the grocery store, sharing stories of family ancestors, or following a recipe in the kitchen. Almost every family can participate in such ways. CDE 2014, Brick, Sebring, Allensworth, Lou Pascu, and Easton 2010. But what happens when a student does not have a family member who can provide this support or who can communicate with educators at school? In such cases, educators need to consider alternatives. One option is to identify an education champion to serve in this role, see box below. Another option is to enlist community partners. Support for learning can take place in multiple settings outside the school day. Support may be provided during after-school programs or in evening hours and may be provided by community organizations, business partners, social service agencies, or other government agencies. We encourage educators to keep these resources in mind, especially when families may be limited in their own ability to provide support at home for learning. 25. An example of an objective and related activities for assisting families to provide support at home for learning follow. Sample objective. Why families engage in literacy activities at home or in the community to support students' language acquisition in their home language and/or English. Sample activities to build educators' capacity to meet the objective. Why provide professional development to teachers and staff in designing family literacy nights, including how to share student achievement data and strategies to use at home. Why develop materials for family literacy nights. Why provide support for outreach to families. Train educators and parent leaders to jointly design family literacy nights. Family engagement toolkit. The process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. Education champions. For some students, there may not be a parent or other family member who can provide support for learning outside of school. It is important that every child have at least one person who serves as an education champion, the person who not only provides support for learning, but also communicates with teachers and educators about the student. A child's education champion might be a relative, a coach, a community or religious leader, or a staff person at the school. The National Center for Youth Law is piloting a program in Santa Cruz County, California. https://www.calhealthreport.org/1014/10/pilot-project-equips-foster-youth-with-education-champions/26 promote meaningful two-way communication between home and school. In our experience, families are most likely to engage in activities with educators when the activities relate to their own children. When educators have a dialogue with families about the goals for their individual children, educators can learn from families about the experiences and interests of students, and families can learn from educators about ways to support their children's learning. One way educators can begin two-way communication is to reach out to families before school starts or at the beginning of the school year to make a positive connection. This can be done with phone calls or through structured home visits. Either way, educators can benefit from training to help them feel more comfortable and be successful in connecting with families. In addition, every family engagement activity needs to include an opportunity for two-way communication between educators and families to discuss what is happening at home, in the community, and at school. Opportunities for two-way communication can also be built into well-designed parent-teacher conferences, family nights focused on math or literacy, and classroom meetings with students and families. Families may be engaged in many additional ways, including volunteering at school or serving on advisory committees and decision-making bodies. All families should be encouraged and supported to participate in these roles. Generally, however, only a small percentage of families have the time, interest, and confidence to participate in decision-making activities on an ongoing basis. Moreover, these activities have not been shown to impact student learning to the same degree as support at home for learning and meaningful two-way communication between home and school. California Department of Education, 2014. An example of an objective and related activities for strengthening meaningful communication between home and school follow. Sample objective. Why district and school staff engage in dialogue with families about the district's program options for English learner students, the goals for English language acquisition, and the process of reclassification. Family engagement toolkit. The process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. Sample activities to build educators' capacity to meet the objective. Train staff on the program options in the district, the system of English language acquisition, and the policies and processes for reclassification. Y, provide professional development to all staff in effective listening and communication skills. Y, provide professional development to all staff in cultural responsiveness. Y, design opportunities for educators to practice communicating with families about policies and programs related to English learner students. Y, review procedures for determining when the translation of written documents and interpretation of oral communication is needed. E, train staff on how to effectively integrate interpretation services during interactions with families. Y, employ staff to provide interpretation services when appropriate. Tool 7 is a planning tool for strengthening connections to learning that puts together objectives, activities, and progress indicators. 2 examples of Tool 7, based on plans from fictitious districts, are included in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document. Family engagement tools, editable templates. In example A of Tool 7, the district team chose to strengthen connections to student learning by aligning Family 27 engagement objectives and activities with the district goal of increasing student attendance. In example B, the district team chose to align family engagement objectives and activities with the district goal of increasing the level of English proficiency among English learners. We encourage your team to discuss the equity questions below to ensure that the needs of families in all student groups are addressed in planning activities. We also encourage your team to develop additional equity questions that reflect your unique school community. Equity questions for planning. Why are parent and community leaders from our diverse school communities involved in planning activities? Why are we planning targeted outreach to all our families? E, how are we planning to engage parent and community leaders in reaching their communities? Why are we providing information in language that is easily understood? Why are we providing information translated into the home languages of our families? Why do families of English-only students have an opportunity to learn about the importance of programs for English learners? Why are we providing opportunities for educators to listen to the experiences of all our families? Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. Phase 2. Do. When the planning is done, it is time to implement the activities. This do phase involves developing and implementing an action plan for each activity and a communication plan to disseminate important information about family engagement. The action plan helps to ensure that an activity will be carried out by breaking the activity into a series of tasks and specifying who will be responsible for each one. The activities in the communication plan help to develop support across the district and in the community for family engagement activities and help to promote the value of engaging diverse families. Develop and implement an action plan. Adjust plan to reflect 28. The action plan outlines the various tasks needed to implement each planned family engagement activity and identifies who will do each task, what materials are needed, and the timeline for completion. The person responsible for each task will vary based on available staff in the district. Keep in mind that the person responsible may not actually be the one to do all the work involved, but can recruit or assign others to complete tasks. The person responsible will be a person who can ensure that tasks are completed and can report on progress to the district family engagement team. Tool 8 is a tool to develop an action plan. An example of Tool 8 showing an action plan of a fictitious district is available in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document. Family Engagement Tools, editable templates. We suggest completing an action plan for each activity in your plan. Develop and implement a communication plan. The district family engagement team needs to communicate with various audiences in the district about the importance of family engagement and about the district's ongoing family engagement work. The purpose of communication will vary for different audiences and different situations, but will likely include one or more of these objectives. Why increase awareness of the importance of family engagement and positively impacting student learning outcomes? Why increase awareness of the role that all educators play in building trusting relationships with families and connecting family engagement to student learning? Why contribute to integrating family engagement objectives and evaluation methods into district and school plans? Why solicit feedback and input on family engagement plans and activities? Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. 29. Communication needs to be an ongoing effort, starting with the formation of the district family engagement team, continuing during the school year, and reporting on accomplishments and next steps at the end of the year. Each member of the district family engagement team has a role to play in communicating about the objectives and progress of family engagement work with their constituencies. For example, a principal or teacher on the team can share information and solicit input at a principal's or teachers' meeting, and the parent leader can communicate with advisory committees or parent-teacher associations. Communication will take different forms. It may involve a presentation at a meeting, a posting on social media, an article in a newsletter, or an informal conversation. All stakeholders in the district need to know about the district's plan for family engagement and understand the role they play in engaging families. In addition, all stakeholders need to be made aware of the research findings about the importance of family engagement to student achievement. Following are some of the audiences in a district and examples of additional information each may need to know. Board of Trustees or school board members. Why identify district needs in family engagement? Why examples of integration of family engagement objectives in district plans? Why indicators of successful family engagement? Superintendent and other district level leaders. Why resources needed for implementation of family engagement activities? Why data on results of district and school family engagement activities? Why methods the district can use to build the capacity of educators to partner with families, site administrators? Why alignment of school family engagement plans and objectives with school and district student learning goals? Why staff available to support family engagement? Why evaluation methods for family engagement? Teachers and classified staff? Why strategies for linking family engagement to student learning objectives? Why professional learning opportunities to increase their skills in partnering with families? Why strategies to foster two-way communication with families? Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. 30. Advisory committees. Why resources available for family engagement? Why district and school family engagement policy development and evaluation? How they can increase their knowledge and skills related to decision-making. Key questions to consider as the district family engagement team prepares to develop a communication plan. Why? Who are the audiences we wish to reach or connect with? Why? What are their interests, roles related to family engagement? Why? What are we asking them to think about, say, or do? Why? What is the key information for each audience? Why? What are some important talking points or common messages to share with all audiences? Why? What feedback or input are we seeking from each audience? Why? What are the best ways to communicate with each audience? Why? Who will be responsible for communicating with each audience? Equity questions related to communications. Why have we considered how diverse staff and families access information in the district? Why do we need to make our communication materials available in different languages? Why have we used easily understandable terminology and avoided education jargon? Why have we explained all acronyms? Why have we indicated where staff and families can get more information and who to talk to if they have questions or want to get more involved? Tool 9 can help the team address these questions and make a communication plan for family engagement. The plan identifies the audiences in the district to communicate with, the key information needed for each audience, what feedback to solicit, what method to use to communicate, the timeline, and the person responsible for communication. An example of a communication plan for a fictitious district is included in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document. Family Engagement Tools. Editable templates. Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement. Plan, do, reflect, adjust. Phase 3. reflect after the do phase, during which the action plan is implemented. It is time to reflect. Reflection is the evaluation stage of the continuous improvement process for family engagement. It needs to address both implementation, or effort, and results, or effect, meaning how well did we do what we said we would do, and what effect or impact did our efforts have on educators and family lives. Reflection is an essential phase because it can yield insight into which activities work well and should be continued or expanded, what types of improvement may be needed for some activities, and which activities were not effective and should be discontinued. Some family engagement activities may be very effective with one group of families and less effective with another. Having diverse team members reflect together will provide valuable feedback as to why this might be. Reflection should be built in throughout the year in the form of periodic progress checks and also included at the end of the year as an annual evaluation. Data and insights from the team's reflection need to be shared with families and the broader school community to get a just plan reflect U31 their feedback and to continue building trust between educators and families. Each of these aspects of reflection are described in detail below. The team may also choose to reflect on the progress of student learning, or may be asked to provide evidence that family engagement is improving student learning outcomes. We suggest using caution in this regard because family engagement cannot generally be isolated as the single cause of improved student learning. Family engagement is one factor among many that can impact student learning. Others include, for example, school climate, school leadership, classroom instruction, interventions, and academic support at school. Progress checks. How are we doing? Reflection on progress is often called formative assessment because it provides feedback that can be used immediately to adjust or improve activities during the school year. The team should use the progress indicators developed during the plan phase to reflect on activities throughout the year. Key questions for reflection on progress. Why are the planned activities being implemented? Why are they being implemented as envisioned? Why, if the activities are not being implemented, why not? Are there problems with outreach, logistics, or other factors? How effective are the activities that have been implemented? Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement, plan, do, reflect, adjust. End of year evaluation. How did we do? The end of year evaluation is an opportunity to reflect more fully on what was implemented, which objectives were accomplished, and what lessons were learned. This type of reflection is often called summative assessment. The team should review the objectives and progress indicators developed during the plan phase as a basis for discussion. Key questions for end-of-year evaluation. Why did we do the activities we planned? How well did the activities strengthen trusting relationships, and how well did they connect to student learning? Use the matrix in Figure 1, page 9, as you reflect on this question. Why, if the activities did not have the desired outcomes, what got in the way? Were there problems with outreach, logistics, or other factors? Why have we increased the relevant knowledge and skills of our educators? Why have we increased the relevant knowledge and skills of our families? How well did we work together as a family engagement team? Why, what are some indications that family engagement activities may be contributing to improved student learning? 32 equity questions for reflecting. While which families are participating in the activities we planned? How did feedback on activities vary between schools or between different communities? Why, what are some indicators that family engagement may be contributing to improved student outcomes at different schools or in different communities? To answer both the key questions and the equity questions, consider coordinating your data collection with other district data collection activities, such as use of a climate survey. See links to climate surveys and resources. Also, if you used a particular survey during your needs assessment or at the beginning of the year, we suggest that, for consistency, you use the same survey at the end of the year to find out what progress occurred. Tool 10 is a two-part annual family engagement evaluation tool. Part A guides reflection on whether the activities were implemented as planned. Part B guides reflection on how well the activities accomplished the intended outcomes. An example of Tool 10 showing reflections of a fictitious district is available in Appendix 100, and the tool itself is available in the companion Word document, Family Engagement Tools, Editable Templates. The example shows how the evaluation might be completed based on the activities and objectives taken from the planning tool examples, Tools 6 and 7, also in Appendix 100. Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement, plan, do, reflect, adjust. Sharing reflection data with families and the school community, the data your team gathers to answer the questions above, and any other questions the team might add, are important to share with district families and educators. One way to build trust is to show that feedback from families and educators is valued and is used to make improvements throughout the PDRA process. It is important to celebrate both progress and accomplishments, as well as to acknowledge when objectives have not been met, activities are not effective, or unforeseen obstacles arise. Sometimes families and educators get so focused on how to improve or what to do next that we forget to pause and celebrate. It is equally important to identify the lessons we can learn when family engagement work does not reach the results we hope for. Key questions to consider when thinking about sharing data with families follow: why what information is relevant and useful to families? How can the information be presented in a clear way? For example, limit each chart or graphic to one or two concepts or pieces of information. How can we provide opportunities for families and educators to discuss the data? Individual families will naturally be most interested in data related to their own students, but we suggest that, in addition to sharing data about individual students with their own 33 family, you share data from all student subgroups with all families to promote a sense of community and shared interests. Sharing data with families entails two steps. Why describe the data? In this first step, you reach agreement about what the data say using a neutral statement. For example, the data tell us that 75% of families reported that they increased their knowledge of whom to contact when their child is absent. Why interpret the data? In this second step, you explore the meaning of the data. Different people may draw different conclusions from data or see the data from a different perspective. It can be productive to engage in a discussion to share different interpretations. For example, one interpretation of the data described in the paragraph above is that the majority of families will contact the school when their child is absent. However, knowing whom to contact is not the same as taking action to contact the school when the child is absent. Even when families know whom to contact, there may be other reasons for which they do not contact the school, such as their comfort level talking with educators or staff or the relative convenience of reaching the right staff person. When sharing evaluation data with families and the school community, it is important to provide an opportunity for participants to reach agreement on a description of the data and also to discuss their interpretations of the data. Remember to decide together on successes to celebrate, as well as areas for improvement. Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement, plan, do, reflect, adjust. Phase 4. Adjust. The final phase in the continuous improvement process is to determine how to adjust the plan for the next period of time. Using the results of the reflection phase, the team needs to consider whether and how to make changes in the objectives, activities, and/or related tasks. Plan if the reflection stage yields information indicating that current activities are not working. The team may want to make all-out changes or may just fine-tune. How quickly to make the changes depends on the particulars of each activity or task. For example, if a school primarily used RLPO calls to invite families to an event, but feedback from those who participated indicated that personal outreach was the reason they had attended, and if there is another family event coming up right away, the school may want to switch to more personal outreach immediately. On the other hand, If data collected at the end of the calendar year indicate that holding parent forums in November was not nearly as effective as holding them in August, you may want to calendar events differently for the coming year. Adjust to reflect 34 key questions to consider about what you have learned from reflection and what you should do in response. Why do we need to change the objectives to better align with the district's goals? Why should we continue the same activities? Why, if we continue, how can we make them more effective? Why, what other activities should we substitute or add? Whether or not your team makes changes in the family engagement plan overall or in certain activities or their related tasks, keep in mind that new families, new teachers, and new staff will join your district and school every year. To ensure that the team stays abreast of the interests, strengths, and challenges of existing and incoming families, and that the team continues to build the necessary capacity, both of families and educators, revisit the case TONs and the evidence gathering strategies discussed in the Getting Started section, reflect on the data you gather, and determine how to continue strengthening family engagement in your district or school. Family Engagement Toolkit, the process of continuous improvement, plan, do, reflect, adjust. Conclusion: family engagement is an essential strategy for supporting the success of all students. When a district focuses on building trusting relationships and connecting family engagement to student learning, and when it builds the capacity of educators and families to work together, family engagement can lead to a school-family partnership that can positively impact student outcomes and close achievement gaps. Every district has unique strengths and challenges, among educators as well as among families. A family engagement team that reflects the district's diverse stakeholders and that leads a process of continuous improvement will have the best chance of engaging all families in the district and ensuring that family engagement activities align with district goals for student learning. Using an equity lens in the continuous improvement process will help to 35 engage families of underrepresented and underserved students. We hope this toolkit will contribute to the field of family engagement and will inspire others to share their practices, insights, and lessons learned. With families and educators working and learning together, we can make a difference for all students. Family Engagement Toolkit Conclusion. Appendix A Development of Toolkit and Key Themes from Literature on Family Engagement 36. This toolkit is the product of a collaboration among 6 developers from 6 different education entities, each entity having extensive responsibility for, and experience with, supporting districts and schools on a range of education improvement efforts. The California Comprehensive Center at Wested, the California Department of Education's Title I Policy and Program Guidance Office, and 4 California County Offices of Education, Alameda, Nevada, Riverside, and Sacramento. Recent events and conversations with educators and local education agencies, LEAs, across California prompted us to develop this toolkit to strengthen family engagement work. The events that stand out are the 2013 passage of the Local Control Funding Formula, LCFF, in California, the 2013 publication of Partners in Education, a dual capacity building framework for family-school partnerships, dual capacity building framework, and the 2015 reauthorization of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act as the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA. The passage of the LCFF, which replaced the previous kindergarten through grade 12, K-12 finance system in California, created new LEA requirements related to family engagement. The LCFF identifies 8 education priority areas for California LEAs, with 2 additional priorities for county offices of education. One of the state priority areas is parental involvement. Each California LEA is required to develop a local control and accountability plan, LCAP, that addresses all of the state priority areas. For the parental involvement area, the plan must specifically address 1. Seeking parent input in making decisions for the school district and each individual school site, and 2. Promoting parental participation in programs for economically disadvantaged pupils, English learners, foster youth, and individuals with exceptional needs. California Department of Education, 2017 v. Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix A, Development of Toolkit and Key Themes from Literature on Family Engagement. The dual capacity building framework identified as a major factor in the relatively poor execution of family engagement initiatives and programs over the years, the limited capacity of the various stakeholders to partner with each other and to share the responsibility for improving student achievement and school performance, Mapp and Kuttner, 2013, p.7. While the framework resonated with many, in subsequent years practitioner, districts, and schools have continued to struggle over how to best implement its concepts. At the federal level, the passage of ESSA in 2015 continued to emphasize the importance of family engagement as a key element of efforts to improve student outcomes. ESSA strengthens the requirements originally established by the original Elementary and Secondary Education Act, ESEA. ESSA states that each school and LEA receiving Title I funds shall educate teachers, specialized instructional support personnel, principals, and other school leaders, and other staff, with the assistance of parents, in the value and utility of contributions of parents, and in how to reach out to, communicate with, and work with parents as equal partners, implement and coordinate parent programs, and build ties between parents and the school. ESSA, Section 1116E3. 37. All of the toolkit developers have been involved in providing support to LEAs over many years, some primarily through technical assistance for planning and implementing family engagement, and others primarily through gathering input and writing school improvement plans and the recent LCAPs. We frequently hear the questions posed at the beginning of this toolkit from educators in diverse districts, rural and urban, small and large. In creating this resource, the developers have built on past work in the family engagement field, including, to name a few, why Elementary and Secondary Education Act legislation, first passed as part of the Lyndon Johnson-era War on Poverty of the 1960s and most recently reauthorized as S.E. Joyce Epstein's research on how leadership at the district and school levels affects the quality of a school's programs on family and community involvement, and the Action Team for Partnership model developed by Epstein at Johns Hopkins University. Ian Henderson and Karen Mapp's work on the reader-friendly book Beyond the Bake Sale, and their family engagement research compilation A New Wave of Evidence, the impact of school, family and community connections on student achievement. Why the California Department of Education's Family Engagement Framework. Why Partners in Education, a dual capacity building framework for family school partnerships from SEDL and the U.S. Department of Education Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix A, Development of Toolkit and Key Themes from Literature on Family Engagement. Key themes from the literature. This toolkit reflects key themes the developers identified through a review of relevant research and recent family engagement literature. Family engagement must be embedded in goals for student learning. Why in 2010, researchers and practitioner in the National Policy Forum for Family, School, and Community Engagement advocated for reframing family engagement. Weiss, Lopez and Rosenberg, 2010. They described the then current state of family engagement as random acts of family involvement and as siloed into disparate programs that are disconnected from instructional practice and school turnaround strategies. P. 3. Instead, they argued, it is time to transform family engagement strategies so that they are intentionally aligned with student learning and achievement. As a reform strategy, family engagement should be systemic, integrated, and sustained. Systemic family engagement is purposefully designed as a core component of education goals, such as school readiness, student achievement, and school turnaround. Integrated family engagement is embedded into structures and 38 processes designed to meet these goals, including training and professional development, teaching and learning, community collaboration, and the use of data for continuous improvement and accountability. A partnership orientation to family engagement has the most promise for improved student outcomes. Why research in 2005 found that initiatives that take on a partnership orientation, in which students' achievement and school improvement are seen as a shared responsibility, Relationships of trust and respect are established between home and school, and families and school staff see each other as equal partners. Create the conditions for family engagement to flourish. Patrick Weisberg, Redding, and Wahlberg, 2005, Mapp and Kuttner, 2013, p.5. Why a more recent meta-analysis of parent involvement programs found that partnership programs designed to help parents and teachers collaborate with one another as equal partners in improving children's academic and/or behavior outcomes were one of the 4 types of parental involvement that had statistically significant positive effects on student outcomes. Janes, 2013, p. 2. Why the research on successful schools in Chicago, Brick, Sebring, Allensworth, Lupescu, and Easton, 2010, found that schools with stronger ties between educators, families, and the community had higher levels of student achievement than schools with weaker ties. The stronger ties were characterized by teachers understanding local issues and spending time in the community, inviting parents to observe in class, trying to understand parents' concerns, and embracing parents as partners. Family engagement programs need to focus on building the capacity of both educators and families to work together as partners. Why the dual capacity building framework identifies the major factor in poor execution of family engagement initiatives and programs to date as the limited capacity of family engagement toolkit. Appendix A, development of toolkit and key themes from literature on family engagement. The various stakeholders to partner with each other and to share the responsibility for improving student achievement and school performance. Mapp and Kuttner, 2013, p. 7. The framework goes on to specify 4 types of capacity needed, both by school staff and by families. Capabilities, referring to knowledge and skills. Connections, referring to networks and social capital. 3. Confidence, referring to levels of self-efficacy, and cognition, referring to assumptions, beliefs, and worldview. Way to create welcoming environments, be culturally responsive, and build trusting relationships with families. Educators need to build their capacity in the areas described above. Similarly, families need to increase their knowledge, skills, and self-efficacy related to navigating the education system, provide support at home for learning, and work with educators as partners to support student learning. Educators need to be culturally responsive to diverse families and use an assets-based approach to understanding families. Why research indicates that families at all socioeconomic levels have high aspirations for their children. Families from all backgrounds report to desire to be involved, want their children to do well in school, and hope that their children will achieve a better life than their parents have. Gandara, 2011, Weiss, Bouffard, Briglaw, and Gordon, 2009. Why the concept of an assets or strengths-based approach to families is based in the understanding that educators need to explicitly recognize and learn about the support and resources that families provide for their children. Evidence is accumulating that programs and policies that address and support school outreach can strengthen involvement, particularly when they are culturally appropriate and responsive, employ an assets-based approach, and honor the strengths and contributions of diverse families. Weiss, Bouffard, Briglaw, and Gordon, 2009. For example, if educators respect the family's role as the child's first teacher, then families are more likely to feel respected and be willing to partner with educators. This contrasts with deficit thinking, which can be implicitly or explicitly embedded in policies and practices. For example, when educators blame a student's background or the values of his or her family for the student's lack of success in school. Hafner, Miller, Crow, and Hardman, 2015. Why additional research suggests that effective urban schools need teachers that not only know their students well, but also have an empathetic understanding of their parents' situations and have the interpersonal skills needed to engage these adults effectively. Brick and Schneider, 2002, p.139. 3. Social capital refers to the social networks and relationships among adults, including between educators, between family members, and between educators and families. 39 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix A, Development of Toolkit and Key Themes from Literature on Family Engagement. 40 Educators need to build trusting relationships with families, especially those who have historically not been engaged with their children's school. Why? Effective family, school, and community engagement in low-performing schools often must begin with intensive efforts to rebuild trust and promises of accountability given long-standing dynamics of miscommunication and distrust between these schools and their surrounding communities. Furthermore, there must be a continuous effort at relationship building so that trust binds families, schools, and community ties to change the trajectory of underserved students. Weiss, Lopez, and Rosenberg, 2010, p.13 and 16. Why research on levels of relational trust in schools found that schools with strong positive trust levels were more likely to show improvements in student reading and mathematics achievement compared to schools with weak trust levels. Brick and Schneider, 2002. Why, according to Covey's work on the importance of trust in successful organizations, some key behaviors that help to build trust between individuals include listening in order to find out what matters most to other people and demonstrating respect. In addition, Covey explains that building trust with one person is noticed by others and, thus, increases trust more broadly. Covey, 2006. This concept can be applied to educators and families. When educators build trust with one family, their actions are noticed by other families, and trust broadens in the community. Creating welcoming school environments is a necessary component of family engagement efforts. Why parents have reported that feeling welcome and respected by school staff is the top reason they become connected with a school and stay involved. Henderson, Mapp, Johnson, and Davies, 2007, Hoover, Dempsey, and Sandler, 1997. Why a welcoming and respectful culture is conveyed by the physical environment, such as colorful signs posted in the languages spoken by families. Attitudes of staff, conveyed through warm greetings, ready assistance, friendly phone calls, readily accessible translations or interpretation at meetings, and other such signals. Henderson, Mapp, Johnson, and Davies, 2007. Families can most influence student success by providing support at home for learning and engaging in two-way communication with school. Why in his meta-analysis of parent involvement programs, James identified 4 types of parental involvement that had statistically significant, positive effects on student outcomes. Shared reading programs that encouraged parents to read with their children, checking homework programs that encouraged parents to make daily checks on whether their children had completed their homework, partnership programs designed to help parents and teachers collaborate with one another as equal partners in improving children's academic and/or behavior outcomes, and communication between parent and teacher programs that fostered increased communication between parents and teachers. James also found that when schools provided guidance to families on how to engage in the parent involvement activities described above, the impact was greater than when families engaged in the activities without guidance. James, 2013. Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix A, Development of Toolkit and Key Themes from Literature on Family Engagement. Why the literature review in the California Family Engagement Framework also identifies learning at home and school-home communication as the areas most highly associated with student achievement. California Department of Education, 2014. Examples of learning at home include providing space at home for educational activities, talking about school, interactive homework, and reading at home. Why research indicates that providing support at home for learning also improves the likelihood that children will go to college and successfully complete post-secondary education. Parents communicating their education aspirations for their children directly to them, providing encouragement, and planning for post-secondary education are all ways that families can positively affect student outcomes, especially for low-income students. Baldwin, Beckwith, and McQueenie, 2010. Review of Local Control Accountability Plans, LCAP, in California to get a sense of the degree to which school districts in California have been drawing from the research for their own family engagement efforts. The developers reviewed 20 LCAPs, 41 from across the state, including plans from rural and urban districts, and small and large districts and counties. This review was intended as a way to look for trends across districts and provide insight about district needs. We looked for answers to the following questions as we reviewed the LCAPs. 1. Are parent involvement actions and services described in relation to district goals for student outcomes? 2. Do the parent involvement actions and services described include capacity building for both families and educators? 3. How are districts measuring parent involvement outcomes? We found that why actions and services related to family engagement were described under the parent involvement goal but were not included in goals for improving student learning outcomes. Why capacity building actions and services were focused mainly on building the capacity of parents' families to engage in their children's education, with much less focus on building the capacity of educators to do work in partnership with parents' families. Why no districts included methods for measuring educators' growth in knowledge and skills or for measuring their actions to engage families. The last two of these three themes were also identified in a 2016 study, London, by the Public Policy Institute of California of 15 district LCAPs in California that were chosen intentionally to represent high-need districts with a known focus on family engagement. P. 3. The study found that capacity building for school or district staff is not a key strategy for family engagement in any district LCAP reviewed. The most common two metrics found are counts of family participation at events and response rates to family surveys. P. 4. Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix A. Development of Toolkit and Key Themes from Literature on Family Engagement. In prior work, the developers of this toolkit collectively have reviewed hundreds of LCAPs for other purposes. Drawing on this earlier review, on their more recent review of the 20 LCAPs explicitly for this guide development, and on the recent study of 15 districts cited above, the developers concluded that family engagement efforts of many districts could be strengthened to better align with the research themes outlined above. 42 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix A, Development of Toolkit and Key Themes from Literature on Family Engagement. Appendix B Resources 43 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix B Resources. This is a list of resources the toolkit developers have found helpful in planning and implementing effective family engagement. Inclusion on this list does not imply an endorsement of any organization or program. Almost all of these resources are available online at no cost, and some are available in multiple languages. The resources are organized into 6 categories, following the general topics in the toolkit, and are organized alphabetically within each category. 1. Frameworks and guidance. 2. Surveys. 3. Assessment frameworks and guidance. 4. Understanding families. 5. Two-way communication. 6. Analyzing and sharing data beyond the bake sale. The Essential Guide to Family School Partnerships. Ann T. Henderson, Karen L. Mapp, Vivian R. Johnson, and Don Davies. 2007. New York, NY, The New Press. This foundational book provides guidance to schools and districts for building partnerships with families. It includes surveys, checklists, and other tools. Bringing Attendant Home Toolkit Attendant Works. 2014. Available at http://www.attendantworks.org/tools/for-parents/bringing-attendant-home-toolkit/ This toolkit includes research on engaging families with attendant issues, materials to share with families, and interactive exercises to facilitate conversations about attendance. Family Engagement Framework, a tool for California School Districts. California Department of Education. 2014. Available at http://www.cde.ca.gov/ls/pf/pf documents FAMENGAGEFRANENGLISH.pdf # search family %20 engagement %20 framework and view fit age and page mode none. This framework includes an overview of state and federal requirements for family engagement, implementation rubrics, and a review of literature. It is available in Spanish and English. Handbook on Family and Community Engagement. Sam Redding, Marilyn Murphy, and Pam Shealy, editors. 2011. Available at http://www.schoolcommunitynetwork.org/downloads/FACE handbook.pdf. This handbook consists of short articles covering research and promising practices in family engagement. It also includes fictional vignettes of challenging situations involving parents and educators. Partners in Education, a dual capacity building framework for family school partnerships. Karen Lcap and Paul J. Kottner. 2013. Available at http://www.ed.gov/family-community-partners-education.pdf. This framework provides a compass for the development of family engagement strategies, policies, and programs. It includes 3 case studies of dual capacity building. 44 Family Engagement Toolkit. Appendix B Resources. School, Family, and Community Partnerships. Your Handbook for Action. 3rd edition. Joyce L. Epstein, Mavis G. Sanders, Stephen Sheldon, Beth S. Simon, Karen Clark Salinas, Natalie R. Jane Sorn, Kenyatta J. Williams. 2009. Thousand Oaks, CA, Corwin Press. This is a handbook of tools and activities based on the framework of 6 types of parent involvement. Seeing is believing. Promising practices for how school districts promote family engagement. Helen Westmoreland, Heidi M. Rosenberg, M. Elena Lopez, and Heather Weiss. 2009. Available at http://www.hfrp.org/family-involvement/seeing-is-believing-promising- practices for how school districts promote family engagement. This issue brief from the Harvard Family Research Project describes core district-level components necessary for systemic family engagement, policy recommendations, and examples of promising practices and lessons learned in 6 school districts. Surveys, a new tool for understanding family-school relationships. The Harvard Graduate School of Education Pre-K-12 Parent Survey. Beth Schuler. 2013. Available http://www.hfrp.org/our-policies/a-new-tool-for-education/education Pre-K-12 Parent Survey. From the Harvard Family Research Project, includes 7 sets of questions for parents to assess family-school relationships, and can be administered online. It is available in Spanish and English. The California School Climate, Health, and Learning Survey, CALSCHLS, System Wested. 2017. Available at http://cal-schls.wested.org/. This resource comprises 3 interrelated surveys for parents, staff, and students, developed for and supported by the California Department of Education. U.S. Department of Education School Climate Surveys AIR. 2017. Available at https://safesupportivelearning.ed.gov/EDSCLS. This resource includes a suite of school climate surveys for middle and high school students, instructional staff, non-instructional staff, and parents' guardians. User's Guide for Roadmap Family Engagement Survey. Data Inquiry for Equitable Collaboration. University of Washington. 2015. Available at https://education.uwu.edu/unassigned/2015-users-guide-roadmap family engagement survey data inquiry equitable collaboration. This user's guide contains a family engagement survey designed from an equity perspective. The survey and user's guide is the result of a 2-year process of design and piloting in the Renton School District in South Seattle, South King County in Washington. The guide is available in multiple languages. 45 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix B Resources. Program Evaluation and Educator's Guide to Questionnaire Development Jason Harlocker. 2016. Available at https://www.realc-and-events/news-and-educators-guide-to-questionnaire-development/ This guide is designed for principals, superintendents, and other state, district, and school personnel who need to collect information on attitudes, perceptions, or facts to inform their decisions. The guide takes users through a 5-step process for developing a questionnaire. Assessment Design Toolkit, the Center on Standards and Assessment Implementation. ND available at http://www.csai-online. Org Node 1936, an online resource produced by the Center on Standards and Assessment Implementation in collaboration with the Reform Support Network. This toolkit includes videos and supplementary materials for designing and writing assessments. PDA National Standards for Family School Partnerships Assessment Guide, the framework for your school district's local control and accountability plan, 2016. Available at http://capte.org/resource/family-school-partnerships/ This resource includes rubrics for the 6 PDA National Standards for Family School Partnerships. Available in English and Spanish. Understanding Families Participatory Asset Mapping, a Community Research Lab Toolkit. Janice C. Burns, Dagmar Podrzynska-Paul, and Sylvia R. Paz. 2012. Available at http://v5.healthycity.org on participatory asset mapping. This toolkit describes concepts related to and methods for identifying assets in a neighborhood. It includes guides to planning and facilitation of community meetings to collect knowledge and experiences about local assets. Stages of immigrant parent involvement. Survivors to Leaders. Young Chan Han and Jennifer Love. 2015. Available at http://www.capanonline.org/stages-of-immigrant-parent-involvement-survivors-to-leaders/. The authors of this article emphasize that not all immigrant families have the same needs and interests, and they describe how educators can be culturally responsive in designing activities. The counter-narrative. Reframing Success of High-Achieving Black and Latino Males in Los Angeles County, 2017. Tyrone C. Howard, Lau Mount Terry, Oscar Navarro, and Adrian H. Huerta. 2017. Available at https://drive. google.com/drive/folders/0B6BCVAZOBJ-WVLN0WVLLVWTNNMM. This report from the UCLA Black Male Institute includes results of a study of successful Black and Latino young men in Los Angeles, California, using an anti-deficit achievement framework. 46th Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix B Resources. Toolkit of Resources for Engaging Families and the Community as Partners in Education. Maria Elena Garcia, K. Frenzy, Sari B. Dean, Neves Flores, and Kirsten B. Miller. 2016. Available at https://eyes.ed.gov/mcee/edlabs/projects/project.ask project ID = 4509. This 4-part toolkit brings together research, promising practices, tools, and other resources to guide educators in strengthening partnerships with families and community members. Two-way communication, creating a welcoming environment, and available at http://www.cde.ca.gov/ls/pf/documents/key tips admin brochure.pdf. This brochure for school administrators describes 4 key tips for creating a welcoming environment. Partnership 101, the Advocacy Process Workshop and Associated Teacher Handbook, Federal Way Public Schools, WA, ND, available at https://www.fwps.org/cms/lib010/wa0191939/centricity domain 247, partnership_101_handbook.pdf, and https://www.fwps.org/page/2282. respectively. These 2 handbooks are examples of dual capacity building resources designed with parent input for use in workshops with parents and teachers. The Parent Handbook is available in English, Spanish, Korean, and Russian. Quality indicators for translation and interpretation in kindergarten through grade 12 educational settings. Guidelines and resources for educators, California Department of Education. 2006. Available at http://www.cde.ca.gov/sp/alt/er/documents/quality-indicators.pdf. This booklet explains the difference between translation and interpretation, and it includes guidelines for recruitment and training, as well as an English-Spanish glossary of education terms. U.S. Department of Education English Learner Toolkit. 2016. Available at https://www.ed.gov/about/offices/list/OELA/English-learner-toolkit/chap10.pdf. Chapter 10 of this toolkit, Tools and Resources for Ensuring Meaningful Communication with Limited English Proficient Parents, describes the requirements for districts to communicate with families of English learners, as updated in the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA. The chapter also includes strategies for school leaders to integrate English learner families into school culture, along with interpretation and translation resources for districts. Analyzing and sharing data, dabbling in the data, a hands-on guide to participatory data analysis, public profit. ND, available at http://www.publicprofit.net/dabbling-in-the-data. This resource includes guidelines for 15 fun activities to help groups analyze and make meaning of data. Tips for administrators, teachers, and families. How to share data effectively. Harvard Family Research Project. 2013. Available at http://www.hfrp.org/publications-resources/browse-r-publications/tips-for-administrators-teachers-and-families-how-to-share data-effectively. This resource provides guidance to educators on sharing data with families about their students' achievement, strengths and challenges, and learning styles. It also includes tips for families about talking with teachers about their child's progress. It is available in Spanish and English. 47 Family Engagement Toolkit, Appendix B Resources. Appendix 100, Examples of Tools from a Fictitious District. 48 Family Engagement Toolkit, Appendix 100, Examples of Tools from a Fictitious District. Tool 1, Establish a district family engagement team. Purpose: brainstorm potential candidates for the district family engagement team that will represent the diversity of the communities within the district. Instructions: lead the discussion about the need for a family engagement team, engaging members of existing district advisory committees and other family engagement staff. Brainstorm potential members for that team. Note that having some team members who are already on other district committees can facilitate cross-communication. Use the table below to list prospective team members who are representative of each role. Examine your initial list again in light of the following equity questions. Have we identified prospective parent leaders from all of our communities? Does the list of prospective team members reflect the diversity of our district? Designate a leader or leaders to personally invite potential members to an informational meeting where the district family engagement coordinator explains the role and responsibilities of the family engagement team. Role prospective team members, district, state, and federal program staff Ms. Montero, students with disabilities Mr. Young, homeless youth Ms. De Leon, English learners site administrator Ms. James, middle school principal Mr. Owens, elementary principal, district mentor of new principals Ms. Taylor, elementary principal who promotes family engagement teacher and or counselor S. Ms. Jones, elementary teacher doing home visits Mr. Levy, high school counselor Ms. Ortega, middle school teacher and union representative parent leader Mrs. Garcia, ELAC member Mr. Williams, SSC member Mrs. Chang, recent graduate of Parent University Community Partner Destiny Dance, after school program provider Mr. Taylor, Baptist minister Ms. Garcia, business owner support staff Mr. Young, custodian Ms. Costello, family liaison Ms. Garcia, Nurse 49 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100, examples of tools from a fictitious district. Tool 2, create a vision statement for family engagement purpose. Create a vision statement for family engagement in your district. Instructions: give each member of the family engagement team a copy of the table on the following page. Ask each member to individually reflect on the questions in the tool and jot down ideas in the table. Ask each member to discuss his or her ideas with a partner and to prepare to discuss them with the group. Conduct a group discussion to gather team members' ideas about what outstanding family engagement would look like for each stakeholder group. Chart ideas for each of the boxes. Save your notes from this discussion to use in conducting a needs assessment. 50 through further discussion. Build consensus on the key elements of your district's family engagement vision statement. Delegate a small group to draft the vision statement based on that consensus and bring it back to the team to be finalized. When the team meets to finalize the vision statement, consider the following equity questions. Will this vision statement resonate with families of all student groups? Bullet: does this vision statement include a role for all stakeholders? Will this vision statement serve as an inspiration for all stakeholders? Consider sharing the vision statement with the Board of Trustees or school board members to seek its approval and ask that the vision statement be included in the district's family engagement policy. Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100, examples of tools from a fictitious district. When our district has outstanding family engagement, what will it look like? What will, name of group, know or be able to do, feel, be doing? For each group listed in the chart below, consider these questions. Families will feel confident talking with teachers and administrators. Will advocate for all students. Will be co-leading activities with educators to build capacity of teachers and families. Teachers will reach out to every family. Will be comfortable working with families as partners. Will appreciate assets in every community. Administrators will make all families feel welcome. Will support teachers to spend time engaging families. Will ensure families are partners in supporting student achievement. Students will know their families are welcomed at school. Will feel their heritage and their families are respected at school. Will encourage their family members to engage with teachers and administrators staff. Will know they are valued for their role in engaging families. Will take initiative to welcome families, community groups. Will feel they are part of the school community. Will partner with teachers and administrators to support student learning goals. 51 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100, examples of tools from a fictitious district. Tool 3, identify current levels of trust between educators and families. Purpose: gather evidence of and reflect on The degree of trust between educators and families in the district and schools instructions. Ask the family engagement team to reflect on the two questions in the left-hand column of the table below and to identify existing evidence that helps to answer each question. If your team has very limited evidence about the current situation, discuss evidence you might gather that will help to answer each question. Reach agreement on what additional evidence to gather and on next steps for gathering it. Be as specific as possible about next steps, i.e., who will do what, by when. As you review the evidence you have, use the right-hand column to note any needs you may want to address when you start the plan phase of the continuous improvement process. Questions to consider evidence. We have additional evidence to gather. Next steps for gathering the evidence. Identified needs to be completed after reviewing evidence. How welcome do our families feel at our school district? Climate survey data indicate that overall, 65% of families feel welcomed at school. Disaggregated data indicate differences between subgroups, e.g., Latino and white families feel more welcome than African American families. Reasons that some families feel more welcome than others. Family liaison will conduct focus groups with diverse groups of families to learn about reasons some families feel more welcome than others. Increase efforts to ensure all families, in particular African American families, feel welcome at school. Are there differences between different groups of families, by grade levels or schools? A walkthrough conducted by the family engagement team identified a lack of diversity in the photos and posters on the bulletin boards. Teacher experiences of their efforts to build trusting relationships with families. Principal or school leadership team will ask teachers at faculty meetings about their experiences of building relationships with families. Action for upcoming school year: improve diversity of families and photos and posters on web pages, bulletin boards, and flyers. 52 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Tool 4. Identify current levels of connections to student learning and family engagement efforts. Purpose: gather evidence of and reflect on connections of district and school family engagement activities to student learning instructions. Ask the family engagement team to reflect on the three questions in the left-hand column in the table below and to identify existing evidence that helps to answer each question. If your team has very limited evidence about the current situation, discuss evidence you might gather that will help to answer each question. Reach agreement on what additional evidence to gather, then agree on next steps for gathering it. Be as specific as you can about next steps, i.e., who will do what, by when. As you review the evidence you have, use the right-hand column to make notes of needs that you may want to address when you start the plan phase of the continuous improvement process. Questions to consider evidence. We have additional evidence to gather. Next steps for gathering the evidence. Identified needs to be completed after reviewing evidence. Do district plans include family engagement actions as part of each student learning goal? District plans, e.g., Local Educational Agency, LEA plan, Local Control and Accountability Plan, LCAP in California. District Master Plan for English Learner Programs and Services include family engagement actions as part of each student learning goal. How confident do educators feel about partnering with families to support student learning? Teacher survey responses. Successful teacher experiences in implementing activities linked to learning. Principals, school leadership teams will discuss the topic with teachers at school staff meetings. Include opportunities for educators to role-play interactions with families during professional development. Do families understand effective ways to support their child's learning? Parent survey responses. Family input on activities linked to learning. Family liaison will conduct focus groups with subgroups of families. Provides opportunities for family members to practice learning support strategies with teachers. 53 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Tool 5. Review existing family engagement activities. Purpose: Reflect on existing family engagement activities and how well they 1. Contribute to building trusting relationships and 2. Connect family engagement to student learning instructions. Make a list of current family engagement activities in the left-hand column of the tool. You can prepare this list ahead of time, or you can ask the family engagement team to put the list together as a group activity. Ask the team to reflect on each activity and determine the extent to which it 1. Contributes to building trusting relationships and 2. Connects to student learning. Then document their response by writing "not well," "somewhat," or "very well" in the appropriate column. Initial work can be done by team members as individuals or in pairs and then discussed as a group, or it can be done as a whole group activity. Once the team agrees on the rating for each activity, have members discuss how that activity could be improved. However, before the team makes any plans to change existing activities, be sure to review the continuous improvement process in the toolkit. The discussion about existing activities will contribute to the plan phase. Activity contributes to building trusting relationships, connects to student learning improvement suggestions, family math nights, somewhat, very well, revise agenda and design activity to facilitate dialogue between educators and families. Parent university, somewhat, invite teachers and families to engage in dialogue about their lives, their work, and their hopes and dreams for students. Revise curriculum at parent university to better align with district learning goals. Coffee with principal, very well, somewhat, select a district learning goal for discussion during each coffee session. 54th Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Tool 6. Plan to strengthen trusting relationships. Purpose. Develop plan for strengthening trusting relationships. Instructions. Identify the district goal at the top of the form. If you have more than one goal, use one form for each. Ask the team to discuss and define objectives, i.e., what knowledge and skills you want educators to have, and what you want them to be able to do. Once your objectives are defined, discuss activities to accomplish your objectives. For each activity, identify progress indicators that will help you know if the activities are underway and how effective they are. Depending on the size of your team, you may choose to have the members work as a whole group or in smaller groups, with those smaller groups sharing out their work for the whole group, which provides feedback. Have the team discuss how to integrate these objectives, activities, and progress indicators into larger district plans, such as the Title I Local Educational Agency Plan, or plans required by the county, region, or state, such as the Local Control and Accountability Plan, LCAP, in California. Make notes of the next steps for coordination with other local planning processes. District goal: families feel more welcome and more trusting of educators and staff. Objectives: what do educators across the district need to know and be able to do? Activities: what activities will accomplish these objectives? Progress indicators: how will we know if the activities are happening and how effective they are? All staff learn about the assets and challenges among families in the school community through home visits. Professional learning for teachers and staff across the district and home visit protocols. Percent of staff trained in home visit protocols. Feedback from staff and teachers regarding increase in understanding assets and challenges of families through home visits. Teachers and staff listen without judgment and establish two-way communication channels with family members. Interactive professional learning for teachers, staff, and parents in fostering two-way communication between families and schools. Professional learning evaluations from staff and teachers indicating increase in skills and confidence in communicating with families. Teachers across the district greet families and students before school or at beginning of class in their native languages when possible. Reminders during staff meetings of expectations for teachers to greet students. Regular principal reports at staff meetings on observations of teachers greeting families. Teachers make regular phone calls home with positive messages and ask for feedback from families. Professional development for teachers, including role-playing of teacher-parent phone calls. Teacher reports at staff meetings on positive teacher calls made to families. 55 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Tool 7. Plan to strengthen connections to student learning purpose. Develop plan for strengthening connections to student learning instructions. Identify the district goal at the top of the form. If you have more than one goal, use one form for each. Ask the team to discuss and define objectives, i.e., what knowledge and skills you want educators and families to have, and what you want them to be able to do. Once your objectives are defined, discuss activities for accomplishing them. For each activity, identify progress indicators that will help you know if the activities are underway and how effective they are. Depending on the size of your team, you may choose to have the members work as a whole group or in smaller groups, with the smaller groups sharing out their work for the whole team, which provides 56 feedback. Have the team discuss how to integrate these objectives, activities, and progress indicators into larger district plans, such as the Title I Local Educational Agency Plan, or plans required by the county, region, or state, such as the Local Control and Accountability Plan, LCAP, in California. Make notes of the next steps for coordination with other local planning processes. See following pages. Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Example A. District goal. All students attend school regularly. Objectives. What do educators and families across the district need to know and be able to do? Activities. What activities will accomplish these outcomes? Progress indicators. How will we know if the activities are happening and how effective they are? District and school staff understand the barriers to their families in getting children to school, and they engage in meaningful dialogue with families about community resources and the importance of attendance. Staff professional learning focused on attendance barriers of families. 3 parent forums to be held in key locations throughout the district to share attendance data, provide an opportunity for dialogue, identify families' barriers to getting their children to school, and share resources for families. Short assessments at workshops, such as Know Want to Know Learned, KWL charts, exit cards, before-after questionnaires, group discussion report outs, to gauge increase in educator and family knowledge and understanding related to attendance barriers and resources. Teachers use two-way text messaging throughout the school year to send and receive messages related to attendance. 2 professional learning sessions for teachers on using text messages with families. Short teacher surveys twice during the school year on how many messages teachers sent and how many families responded to text messages related to attendance. Family members understand the connection between student attendance and student learning, and they know how to reach the appropriate staff member at their child's school site to talk about attendance issues. Family liaison make personal phone calls and hold informal chats in parent centers to engage family members in discussions about attendance. Reports by family liaison on calls and discussions with families about attendance. Family members notify the school when their child is absent and ask for help when they need assistance to get their child to school. At school events, such as back to school night, staff work with families to practice using the text message system to contact the school about absences. Reports from attendance clerk on how many families are notifying the school when their child is absent. 57 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Example B. District goal. English learner students will become proficient in English in a timely manner. Objectives. What do educators and families across the district need to know and be able to do? Activities. What activities will accomplish these outcomes? Progress indicators. How will we know if the activities are happening and how effective they are? District and school staff understand the district's program options for English learners, the goals for English language acquisition, and the process of reclassification. Staff can engage in meaningful dialogue with families about how they can support their English learner student. Teachers hold class meetings to discuss with families how progress on English language acquisition is monitored and how families can support their English learner student. Professional learning sessions for staff focused on language development goals and resources for students in the district. 2 interactive professional learning sessions for teachers that include role-playing on facilitating a class meeting about monitoring English language acquisition and supporting English learner students. Quick assessments at workshops, such as Know Want to Know Learn, KWL charts, exit cards, before-after questionnaires, group discussion report outs to gauge increase in staff knowledge and understanding in this area. Teacher reports at staff meetings, feedback from families of English learner students indicating increased understanding from class meeting. All family members understand the district's program options for English learner students, the goals for English language acquisition, and the process of reclassification. In addition to class meetings, 3 parent forums to be held in key locations throughout the district to share information about program options for English learner students, the goals and data on English language acquisition in the district, and the process of reclassification. Parent leaders receive training to lead parent forums. Short assessments at workshops such as KWL charts, exit cards, before-after questionnaires, group discussion report outs, to gauge increased understanding by family eyes. Family members and allies in the community spend time reading with children. Family members engage in literacy activities at home or in the community and participate in literacy activities at school. Educators and/or community organizations hold family literacy nights in the community to promote reading with students. Attendance at literacy events, disaggregated by student groups. Survey responses of families about literacy activities at home, disaggregated by student group. 58 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Tool 8. Develop an action plan purpose. Identify tasks for implementing an activity, as well as who will be responsible for each task, what materials will be needed, and the timeline for completing the task. Instructions for each activity in your plans for strengthening trusting relationships and strengthening connections to student learning. Make an action plan using this tool. While it may seem like a lot of work to create one, having an action plan with identified tasks, designation of who is responsible for completing the task, and a timeline for completion can make the difference in whether tasks are completed and activities are successful. In some cases, the person responsible may be someone who coordinates others or assigns the tasks to several staff members. Ultimately, the person responsible is the person who makes sure the task is completed. See following page 59 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Activity. Hold 3 parent forums in key locations throughout the district to share attendance data, provide an opportunity for dialogue, identify families' barriers to getting their children to school, and share resources for families. Task. Consult with parent leaders from diverse communities about supports for and barriers to increasing attendance and document responses. Who is responsible, materials needed, task completion timeline. Family Engagement Coordinator District handout about attendance information gathering tool. 3-4 months before event, convene a focus group of parents to discuss how to present attendance data to families. Family Engagement Coordinator recent attendance reports by grade level and by subgroup. 2-3 months before event, get parent input on best date, time, and location of forums. Prepare data tables in easily accessible format. Family Engagement Coordinator Director of Assessment or Research guiding questions response gathering tool. Recent attendance reports by grade level and by subgroup. 2-3 months before event, 4 weeks prior to the event, recruit parent leaders to reach out to families about attending forum. Site liaison contact information communication log. 4 weeks prior to the event, coordinate with site liaison to reach out to Families District Family Engagement Coordinator flyer or messages for event 4 weeks prior to event plan agenda to include opportunities for two-way dialogue about attendance between educators and families. Prepare short surveys to determine understanding before and after forums and get feedback. Family Engagement Coordinator detailed facilitators agenda 2 weeks prior to event. Family Engagement Coordinator with assessment research department surveys 2 weeks prior to event. Recruit teams to set up and clean up for forums. Family Engagement Coordinator list of setup and cleanup tasks and event schedule 2 weeks prior to event. 60 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100 examples of tools from a fictitious district. Tool 9, develop a communication plan. Purpose, develop a communication plan to increase awareness of family engagement and the role of all stakeholders, and to solicit feedback and input on family engagement plans and activities. Instructions, facilitate a brainstorm among team members of all the possible audiences in the district and school communities who need to be considered in developing the family engagement communication plan. Keep in mind that each audience may need different information, may prefer different methods of communication, and will have input on different aspects of family engagement. Depending on the size of your team, you may choose to have the whole group work together or work in smaller groups. If working in smaller groups, have them share out their work with the whole group, which provides feedback. For each audience, have the whole group or smaller groups address the following questions. What are their interest roles related to family engagement? 61. What are we asking them to think about, say, or do? What is the key information they need? What feedback or input are we seeking from them? What are the best ways to communicate with them? Who will be responsible for communicating with them? The following communications-related equity questions should also be considered. Have we considered how diverse staff and families do or don't access information in the district? Do we need to make our communication materials available in different languages? Have we used easily understandable terminology and avoided education jargon? Have we explained all acronyms? Have we indicated where staff and families can get more information and who to talk to if they have questions or want to get more involved? Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100 examples of tools from a fictitious district. Audience key information feedback to solicit best communications method. Timeline person responsible. Board of Trustees research on family engagement showing importance. Work of family engagement team on 2 dimensions. Highlights of family engagement in the district. Questions about research and the work of the team. Board meeting presentation at beginning and end of the year. District website and social media. September board meeting. May board meeting. Monthly updates. Family engagement coordinator and team members. Superintendent and Cabinet research on family engagement showing importance. Objectives for family engagement on 2 dimensions. Progress reports on family engagement activities. How family engagement activities can be integrated into district initiatives for student learning and strategic plan. Presentation at cabinet meeting. Emails. September presentation and monthly emails. Family engagement coordinator site administrators. Objectives for family engagement on 2 dimensions. Role of educators in the district plan for family engagement. Role of family liaison at school sites. Professional development needs of site educators. Challenges of engaging families. Resources needed at sites. Presentation at principals meetings. October-February. Site administrator on Team 62 continues on following page. Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100 examples of tools from a fictitious district. Audience key information feedback to solicit best communications method. Timeline person responsible. Teachers and classified staff. Objectives for family engagement on 2 dimensions. Plans for professional development on engaging families. Role of family liaison at school sites. Professional development needs of site educators. Challenges of engaging families. Resources needed at sites. Presentation at faculty meetings. Newsletter October November, February, March. Teacher and staff on Teen Advisory Committee's objectives for family engagement on 2 dimensions. Plans for professional development on engaging families. Role of family liaison at school sites. Input on plans for family engagement. Suggestions on building capacity of family members. Professional development needs of site educators. Resources needed. Presentation at advisory committee meetings. Emails to committee members. September, January. Parent leader on Team 63 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Tool 10. Evaluate family engagement annually. Purpose. Evaluate the implementation and impact of family engagement activities. Instructions. For Part 8. Did we do what we planned? Review the action plans for strengthening trusting relationships and strengthening connections to student learning, and use this tool for evaluating accomplishments of each district goal. List the activities in the left-hand column. Facilitate a discussion with the team about whether each activity was implemented in full, in part, or not at all. Make notes about any obstacles to implementation and/or any observations or insights about what led to only partial implementation. These notes will be useful when the team discusses how to share information and how to adjust activities for next year's plan. District goal: all students attend school regularly. Part 8. Did we do what we planned? Activity: yes, no, partially. Notes: 3 parent forums held. X2 forums were held at different locations. Attendance varied from 10 family members to over 50. Outreach was not effective at some sites. Add note: why. 2 professional development sessions held. X2 sessions were held and a majority of teachers from each site participated. Feedback was more positive at first session. 64th Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Instructions for Part B. How well did the activities accomplish the objectives? Review the plans for strengthening trusting relationships and strengthening connections to student learning, and use Part B of this tool for each district goal. List the objectives for educators and for families in the left-hand column. Facilitate a discussion with the team about available evidence that provides insight into how well each objective was accomplished. Once the team discusses all the evidence, decide how well each objective was accomplished, i.e., not well, somewhat, or very well. This discussion will be helpful when the team discusses how to share information and how to adjust objective and activities for next year's plan. Part B. How well did the activities accomplish the objectives? Objective evidence: not well, somewhat, very well. District and school staff understand the barriers of their families in getting to school. Surveys of teachers at the end of the year indicated 70% of teachers have an understanding compared to 30% of teachers surveyed at the beginning of the year. Ex-teachers regularly engage in two-way communication with family members. At 10 out of 15 sites in the district, more than 50% of teachers report sending text messages to over 50% of their families. Ex-family members know how to reach the appropriate staff member at school sites for attendance issues. Surveys of families indicate 75% of family members know how to reach the appropriate staff member, compared to 30% of families at the beginning of the year. Ex-family members notify the school when their child is absent. Attendance clerks report an increase in the number of calls from families when the child is absent. X65 Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 100. Examples of tools from a fictitious district. Appendix 500 Methods of collecting information. 66th Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 500. Methods of collecting information. Methods of collecting information. Method: advantages, disadvantages. Surveys: male, why can survey many people, why not time consuming, why relatively inexpensive, why everyone gets the same instrument, why objective interpretation, why difficult to get much detail, why sometimes difficult to get correct addresses, why may be problems with interpreting questions, why sometimes a problem getting surveys completed and return surveys. Group administered. Y can survey many people. Y not time consuming. Y relatively inexpensive. Y everyone gets the same instrument. Y objective interpretation. Y may be problems with interpreting questions. Y difficult to get much detail. Surveys. Telephone. Y able to ask for more detail when needed. Y everyone gets the same instrument. Y sometimes difficult reaching people. A lack of anonymity. Interviews. Y researcher can know how people are interpreting questions. Y able to ask for more detail when needed. Y provide detailed data. Y time consuming. Y because of time can limit sample size. Y subjective interpretation. Y can be expensive. Y can be difficult to analyze focus groups. Y researcher can know how people are interpreting questions. Y able to interview multiple people at one time, thus more cost-effective. Y responses from one person provide stimulus for other people. A group setting may inhibit some individuals from providing information. Y sometimes hard to coordinate multiple schedules. Y responses from one person can influence other people's responses. Observations. A low burden for people providing data. Y time consuming. Y some items are not observable. Y can be expensive. Y participant behavior may be affected by observer presence. Student records. Y objective interpretation. Y low burden for people providing data. Y relatively inexpensive. Y may not correspond to exactly what researcher wants. Y may be incomplete or require additional interpretation. Y may need special permission to use collection of materials. Y objective interpretation. A low burden for people providing data. Y relatively inexpensive. Y may not correspond to exactly what researcher wants. Y may be incomplete or require additional interpretation. 67 source adapted from U.S. Department of Education, Office of Educational Research and Improvement. ND. Different methods of collecting data. Washington, D.C., author. In public domain, Family Engagement Toolkit Appendix 500. Methods of collecting information. References: Baldwin, M., Beckwith, S., and McQueenie, C. 2010. Parent and Community Involvement in a College Career-Ready Culture. Austin, TX, SEDL and Texas Comprehensive Center. Retrieved from http://www.sedl.org/pubs/catalog/items/txcc02.html. Brick, A. S. and Schneider, B. 2002. Trust in Schools. A core resource for improvement. New York, NY, Russell Sage Foundation. Brick, A. S. Sebring, P. B. Allensworth, E. Lupescu, S. and Easton, J. Q. 2010. Organizing Schools for Improvement. Lessons from Chicago. Chicago, IL. University of Chicago Press. California Department of Education. 2014 Family Engagement Framework, a tool for California school districts. Sacramento, CA, author. California Department of Education. 2017 A. Family and Community website. Sacramento, author. Retrieved from definition, para. 3 at http://www.cde.ca.gov/qs/fc/California Department of Education. 2017 B. Local Control and Accountability Plan, LCAP website. Sacramento, author. Retrieved from http://www.cde.ca.gov/read/lc/Center on School Turnaround. 2017. 4 Domains for Rapid School Improvement, a Systems Framework. San Francisco, CA, Wested. Covey, S. M. R. 2006. The Speed of Trust. New York, NY, Free Press. Epstein, J. L. Sanders, M.G. Sheldon, S. Simon, B.S. and Clark Salinas, K. 2009. School, Family and Community Partnerships. Your Handbook for Action, 3rd ed. Thousand Oaks, CA, Corwin Press. Every Student Succeeds Act of 2015, Pub. L. No. 11495 paragraph 114 stat. 1177, 2015-2016. Gandara, P. 2011. Bridging Language and Culture. In S. Reading, M. Murphy, and P. Shealy, eds. Handbook on Family and Community Engagement. Lincoln, I.L., Academic Development Institute. Garcia, M. E. Frunze, K. Dean, C. B. Flores, N. and Miller, K. B. 2016. Toolkit of Resources for Engaging Families and the Community as Partners in Education. Part 1, Building an Understanding of Family and Community Engagement, REL 2016-148, Washington, D.C., 68 Family Engagement Toolkit References. U.S. Department of Education, Institute of Education Sciences, National Center for Education Evaluation and Regional Assistance, Regional Educational Laboratory Pacific. Retrieved from http://is.ed.gov/ncee/edlabs. Hafner, M. Miller, P. Crow, G. and Hardman, M. 2015. Moving our thinking about family school relationships from deficit-oriented to assets-based. Burlington, the National Institute on Leadership, Disability and Students Placed at Risk, University of Vermont. Henderson, A.T. and MAP, K.L. 2002. A New Wave of Evidence, the Impact of School, Family, and Community Connections on Student Achievement. Austin, T.X., Southwest Educational Development Laboratory. Henderson, A. T. MAP, K. L. Johnson, V. R. Davies, D. 2007. Beyond the Bake Sale, The Essential Guide to Family School Partnerships. New York, N.Y., The New Press. Hoover Dempsey, K. V. and Sandler, H. M. 1997. Why do parents become involved in their children's education? Review of Educational Research, 67-1, 342. James, W. H. 2013. A meta-analysis of the efficacy of different types of parental involvement programs for urban students. Cambridge, M.A., Harvard Family Research Project. Leithwood, K. and Reel, C. 2003. What We Know About Successful School Leadership. Philadelphia, PA, Laboratory for Student Success, Temple University. London, R. A. 2016. Family Engagement Practices in California Schools. San Francisco, Public Policy Institute of California. MAP, K. L. and Kuttner, P. J. 2013. Partners in Education, a Dual Capacity Building Framework for Family School Partnerships. Austin, TX, SEDL. Retrieved from http://www.ed.gov/documents/family-community/partners-education.pdf. Weiss, H. B. Bouffard, S. M. Briglaw, B. L. and Gordon, E. W. 2009. Reframing Family Involvement in Education. Supporting Families to Support Educational Equity. New York, N.Y., Teachers College, Columbia University. Weiss, H. B. Lopez, M. E. and Rosenberg, H. 2010. Beyond Random Acts, Family, School, and Community Engagement as an Integral Part of Education Reform. National Policy Forum for Family, School, and Community Engagement. Cambridge, M.A., Harvard Family Research Project. Wested, 2010. Culture and Assessment, Discovering What Students Really Know. R&D Alert 11-2. Retrieved from https://www.wested.org/resources/culture-understanding-what-students-really-know/Westmoreland H. M. Lopez M. E. and Weiss H. 2009. Seeing is believing. Promising practices for how school districts promote family engagement. Cambridge, M8, Harvard Family Research Project Issue Brief. 69 Family Engagement Toolkit References.
So that's amazing. Why amazing? Simply because, Nevada had someone that participated in the creation of this document, yet and still you can't see any of the promising practices that Nevada has implemented or Clark County has implemented in regards to student achievement and student disaggregated data, and the community engagement and the parent involvement just doesn't exist for all children. So this was the lesson today. Y'all tune in for more.